molt. Begin with, the timing was so unfortunate for Talia that she was just getting run over regardless.
Listen,
yes,
right?
I'm listening.
I didn't believe in BDS yesterday, okay?
Yeah.
And I know people came up for me and they're like, you need to apologize.
You should.
Okay, and I will.
Not.
I will apologize. I will. And you remember this one, okay? So instead of being realistic, I spent the entire pause of that whole and we're getting that BDS 3-2. Forget that 3, yo, my boys. They're gonna bounce back. They may have never gone back in a reverse sweep, but they got this. I have no logical explanation why, but I just believe they do.
Yeah. I appreciate your enthusiasm.
There's sweat on it. It
this man,
stinks.
That's great. But what do they do? Like, is there anything you would like to see from them? Because I honestly can't see it. Like, PSG are playing better in the game, and the draft diff is huge.
How dare you?
Be realistic.
To get back to you.
You need a piss test.
Listen, that Renekton, just throw it out the window. You know, it doesn't work. Like, don't first pick. I don't care. Get Nuke on the Asir, okay? He's got 2 champions. Orianna, it'll get banned. Asir won't get banned. Just put him on it. It's going to be fine, all right? I know we're going to struggle a bit. That first game wasn't as bad as it seems. I know it was slow-paced, but we were so close to winning the fights every now and then. Give me Adam on a champion where he just fully sends it. We got 1 game left, backs against the wall. How do you want to go out? With regrets or by playing your heart out?
Regrets. Blue side, Raz, do you have any more cope for me?
I actually think we're playing closer. Don't even try. We're playing closer to the tournament meta, I think. He's going for it. Just because I think the Poppy had such insane value. Renekton, Kalista, and Nautilus on the board. We haven't been seeing too much Poppy so far. I'm not even looking at it.
Yeah, just keep going, keep going.
But I think the reason we haven't been seeing so much Poppy is because in play-ins teams, I think the quality of play and trying to find your fights without hard engage hasn't been there. Now PSG has been playing at such a high level that, yeah, this makes sense. Their draft is great. The Rel flex has been perfect. Then they pick up Poppy just because, you know, it's also a flex just in case they wanted to throw a topside. So I'm flip-flopping. And starting into today, I thought I had a little bit of faith into BDS. No more. It's gone.
Wow.
My BDS faith is out of here.
Goldborg, you have 3 words to say why BDS will win.
Because they will kill the enemy nexus.
That was so many more than 3 words. PSG Talon's domination continues here at Worlds 23 as they are 1 win away from advancing to the Swiss stage. We'll be right back for match point.
Don't be too stressed. Take the game chill. Your first game was not as bad as it looks. So play it with confidence, and you guys will win. All right? Let's go, guys.
Not really much you can do about that. They're going to be able to get the flick back nicely done, but Sheo has no flash. He's nowhere to go, and that's going to be an easy kill. Seeing if they can go for something. There's the double hex flash. Nobody ever expects the double hex flash. You cannot slice and dice away. Woody once more, and Woody will get everything he wants. Here we go. They're going to look for it. There's the knock up. They're only right back onto their base. They're going to use the Talia wall, but Adam dies for only the 2nd time.
I'm your type. 누르게 되지 like. 다른 애들은 swipe. Double tap this site.
사랑하지 내게 하트를 준 모든 애들 my friend 걔네기들 상응해줘야 돼 움직여 바삐 double tap 같은 double flow I'm on 편지 마치 Rolex non-stop racks on racks 못 벌면 난 죽어 Bounce we got the juice No time 낭비할 수 없으니까 나는 항상 work work Baby working hard 맨날 twerk twerk Bounce we got the juice No time 낭비할 수 없으니까 나는 항상 work work Baby working hard 맨날 twerk
ASAP your type, 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 type. 누르게 되지 like, 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 like. 다른 애들은
We are back. What could potentially be the final game of play-ins as BDS find themselves 0-2 down. PSG dominant is the only word I find apt for that particular performance.
I have a lot, but I probably shouldn't say all of them.
You know what? We're going to need some of those during this game potentially. So you keep them into your hat for the moment. But, I mean, BDS, they've chosen blue side again. They are going to have that first pick rotation, but they need to throw anything, everything over there. It's a Hail Mary. It's the fourth quarter. You're down. You need to have a massive play.
I appreciate the Americanisms.
I'm a massive NFL fan, so
there we go.
unfortunately, New York Jets. So,
You gotta speak to me. Oof.
Yeah,
Roughy.
big oof on that particular one there. But yeah, it's rough.
I agree. I mean, it's potentially the last game you're going to play this year if you're not able to win this one. So you don't want to go just troll and pick random stuff, but you do want to go out on a good showing, figure out which champions are going to best do that. And I got to say, here's my attempts at the caster curse. No one ever comes back from that. You know, it's a 3-0.
You're not Cloud9. You can't do this.
I was the team that happened against. I was
really?
I was coaching curse back then when LMQ reverse swept us. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
So I have that power, maybe. No one ever comes back. Congrats on making Worlds to PSG. No one comes back. There you go. It starts with success for PSG.
Yeah,
and
there's
Maple.
the LEC one there.
What else
we got
you
any
got?
more? We got any more? I can't think of. I haven't cast a penta yet today. You know, there's always something there that might go against them. To be honest,
I don't know if that one's
that's a little bit of a neutral one, to be honest with you. But if there's ever a time to come back into a series and get a penta, it's right now. But BDS going to continue banning out things like the Rumble. Make sure they are not getting the ultimate kind of AP in that top sides. And I mean, yeah, just keep banning away towards that top end. Honestly, I actually have no problem with this whatsoever. I think if they just focus on Adam and try and get him something solid, I think they should be good.
Yeah, maybe not the first pick Renekton now that you see the Jax counter ready to go, unless you're going to
Get
ban
the jungle.
Jax as well. But who knows? The Orianna ban, no surprise. PSG locking in on BDS's most played. And I saw some people being like, why go back to blue side? Because you probably have other drafts other than that more early game oriented option. I would not surprise to see a return more to a game one style of scaling and hope that maybe you can win some more of those fights that were mechanical outplays rather than just getting smashed in the early game.
Okay, for me, the biggest change right now is that it was the Kalista changed up ban for the Maokai. I feel like you have to take the Maokai here. If you leave that open for PSG, they go Maokai Jace, even if you do pick up a Darius or something like that. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, I just don't know what BDS's answer is to some of these situations. I understand the Kalista ban from the perspective of like, hey, they actually got a first blood on us, and if Labrov did not hand one back, maybe that game goes different. That does give the Maokai over. And that is one of Sheo's preferred champions. So I kind of liked the trick that they set up before, but maybe they're worried then he just is going to first pick the Sejuani this time, and he ends up with one of his tanky junglers. So letting him get the Maokai and figuring out what they want to answer with instead.
Wait to see what PSG have the answer for now, because again, they've had all the answers so far. If I was an examiner, I think someone was cheating because they have just come in way too prepared. But Aja definitely thinking like getting him something involved in that top side, you know, again, having something he can carry on like we've seen it twice now before, the Ken and then the Jax, is going to have a Jarvan in the jungle and a Rel. Like, again, already PSG saying, look, we've got incredible frontline engaged to start off this match.
I really like this idea. PSG played that last game saying, hey, we're feeling ourselves. We want tools in the early game to make plays, and Jarvan is basically the best at that. From level 2 onwards, you have the ability to go flying in and try and mess somebody up.
Right now, we're just going to... This is where the big kind of moves come in, if you will, for BDS. They need to figure out where exactly they're going to take these particular picks. Again, ooh,
finally.
Hey, finally we see Crowny now. Can he play it? That's the question on everyone's mind.
Yeah, I mean, you could see it didn't feel like something that they're... Like, I'm obviously reading far too into player faces and what they're saying, but it doesn't seem like something they're very happy about because they don't want it to be picked away and then some more bans thrown at Ezreal, these other things that would happen in Phase 2 if you don't take it here. But at the same time, they don't seem like they really want to be playing with it, and they're not sure what else to combo together here. Coming down to the wire. Alistar locked in, both solo lanes left available here.
So they got their bot lane in the jungle. See if the PSG want to answer in kind, get something for Wako, who's had just honestly an exceptional time on the Kaisa. We'll see him on something different this particular series. So what is his answer? Where does he want to try and take this? Or do they just left it open and say, look, there's no real massive major picks that we want. We're going to go for something maybe a little bit more kind of towards the solo laners, but it looks like for the moment, they're happy to go with another 80 card themselves, the Caitlyn. Wow, okay, so they're going for pure lane dominance and make sure this Kai'Sa can't even get to the point of assassinating.
Correct me if I'm wrong, first Caitlyn of Worlds.
I believe so.
I believe this is the first Caitlyn of Worlds. She's in an interesting spot right now where people have strong opinions on how much damage she can deal. And
depends on the builds.
Yeah, depends on the builds. There's some more annoying ones, depending on how much you like getting headshot crit for 2,000 damage or ulted. So we'll have to see where they end up going here. But it is very interesting to see Wako force off the Kai'Sa, and instead of going for more playmaking, which is where I thought he was going to go. When I think of him as an aggressive team fight, more focused AD carry who wants to go for those game 1 plays where he's flashing in and making a name for himself. Here he's saying, no, lane dominance, give me some resources, set me up some vision, I'm going to smash this guy in lane.
Yeah, and for the moment now, this Caitlyn is going to have all eyes on them. Again, if the range you get from the Caitlyn, just having that control as well, and the fact that you combo it up with the Rel, you come in with the crash down, you drop down a Yordle snap trap, and all of a sudden you're CC'd for a good 2-3 seconds. There's not really a lot else you can do about it. So for me, PSG found, again, if you have an answer, see if it works out for them, because for the moment, they are very happy with the control they've been able to kind of garner in this first few picks.
Yeah, and I think the idea of having a PowerPoint on the map as well to allow Junjia to continue to go for invades onto Sheo, I think it's much better for him this time around, not on the squishier mage jungler that they will not just destroy you if you get caught out, because Maokai's just tankier in general, but yeah, giving them a lane to play through and find paths into Sheo's side of the map.
And the Sylas is huge value here right now. You've got an Alistar ultimate, you've got the Nature's Grasp as well from the Maokai. Like, these are 2 huge ultimates for a Sylas to kind of go for. It is going in blind, and we'll see now what BDS want to try and respond with. This could be it.
There it is.
Gods! 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 They finally get it going. The Olaf has finished the word.
I am glad that on the final potential game for BDS here, if they do not rally, at least he will have completed the acronym. Olaf slammed in the last minute.
And that's all we needed.
That's all that matters this series. The question of if it's gods or dogs, we will find out, because thus far, it ain't been gods.
It ain't been gods today, but anything can happen with an Olaf. And again, I will say it's nice to get it, but you are giving over another fantastic ultimate for the Sylas to take. So these are the things that go through my mind when you're thinking of these different kind of scenarios. But the last pick to kind of come in here from PSG is going to be Nara in that top side. Very solid pick. You want to try and make sure you're not going into a melee versus the Olaf, because you will just be dominated. So having that Nara to be able to have that range keeps you safe.
Yeah, we saw it just yesterday with how Nara can outplay the Olaf. If you're able to cut him out, if you dodge an axe, his ult can time out. And this time around, he is the one with the Jarvan. So this is an old school combination. The J4 and the Nara, you can go for these kinds of imprisonments and then slamming everyone against the walls that you find on backline members if you're able to land onto nuke. Again, a pretty all-in composition. Caitlyn is kind of isolated in team fights. I mean, you can kite back initially as banging our builds, but at some point, they're going to need to dive in and find the members of BDS.
I will say for PSG, like you said, very all-in. You're looking at the Sylas, the Rel, the Nara, and of course the Jarvan, like you mentioned, just all piling in on top of each other. However, on BDS's side, you've got a fair bit of kind of kite back. The Maokai is very good at disengaging with the Bramble Smash. The Alistar is kind of king of that, outside of Janna, of course. And the Olaf should be able to kind of mitigate all CC bar the Cataclysm. So there's actually answers here for the side of BDS if they can find the right fights.
Yeah, I think the Olaf is the question for me, is how much can you get done in the early game? Because we saw yesterday, once it falls behind, becomes pretty useless, as you can just focus it down and it doesn't have the threat in the side lane to keep making plays happen. So we'll have to see a better performance out of Adam here, and hopefully out of Sheo as well, being able to make plays on the map, being allowed to play the game this time, as that was not really the case in game 2.
No, it was not. Sheo on a much more comfortable champion. PSG 2-0 up. They are 1 Nexus away from qualifying for the Swiss stage. BDS, the LEC 4th seed, need a miracle. They need the divine intervention, if you will. And they are going to have to start that long, long grind to try and find glory at the top of the mountain.
Interesting trusting Woody going over the wall with the W early on. Going to try and find an early play onto Adam. Usually BDS are the level 1 cheesers, but this time it's PSG.
Yeah, I'm huge respect by Adam there. Look, it's not even a minute into the game. He will most likely have that flashback before anything relevant happens to him in his lane, but I like the fact that he gave him the respect.
Yeah, that is one of those times where you do not want to start giving over a first blood on the pivotal final game there. And like you said, Flash will be up.
Will be up
5:50 into the game. And you know what, honestly, it's nice to have double summons to force early flashes out of the mini-Gnar like we saw yesterday. If you can just ghost at him, land an axe, it doesn't really matter. That's what you're hoping to do, and have your ult back up with your flash at 6.
That's all you want. And then once you hit 6, that's when the game starts to feel a little bit more favored on that side. But again, it's going to be not just about the top laners, those junglers, Sheo and Junja, in our featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz. It's been all Junja. It has really been all Junja. Sheo was not even really a participant in the last game. Let's see if he can bounce it back again on a comfort champion, on something we know he can perform on.
Yeah, absolutely going to have a lot of pressure as well. Wondering where he'll need to go, because you're kind of in a split map situation here where obviously Adam wants some resources, would love a gank or two if they're able to lock down the Gnar and kill him. But at the same time, if this PSG bot lane is able to get this perma shove in, will you have to hover down there and actually help them fix waves and get resets off and the sorts of things that junglers absolutely loathe doing?
And it's a very kind of, like, jungling is like almost like chess sometimes. You have to keep an eye on absolutely everybody else. It's like chess but 5 different
Chess
players.
but babysitting.
Yeah, chess but you're babysitting the 5-year-olds learning to play chess. Like,
Yeah.
no, take the horse out of your mouth. Like, you just can't do that. But again, this is going to come down to how they're able to kind of make these moves work. And I like what Sheo's looking for right now, trying to see if he can maybe go for an early move in this bot side. Level 3 into level 2. They look for a flash pulverize, perhaps mid lane. Nuke will have a dash, you would imagine, in a second or so. Chain lash, it's going to land. Ooh, misses the CC, and that means that Nuke should be able to just walk away.
Yeah, that was a really nice angle there by Maple, getting in range for the W actually to get what is usually a pretty free E2, but just Nuke didn't instantly run up the ramp and was having a nice little kite out there. So able to hold on to his summoners there. That's absolutely huge, as well as the fact that PSG's bot lane did not end up getting engaged on there, surviving some of those early pressures from both those lanes.
The big thing here as well is that because Junja showed himself towards that mid lane, pathing their bot, obviously showing he had the red, that frees up Adam to get a bit more aggressive. He knows there's no jungler here. Even without a flash, he is still a very big threat onto a very small Gnar.
Yeah, mini Gnar level 3 gank is usually not very good for your own team to go for. So, of course, you have Jinjia pathing down to the bot side here. And right now, Wako and Woody doing a good job of just being that annoying perma-shove push that you get for Caitlyn.
Wait to see Crowny, 1 CS up. Congrats to him.
Hey,
just saying, man.
Dominating.
We got to find as many silver linings as we can until plays actually start happening. But right now, PSG, they just feel comfortable. Like, again, you have the Jarvan, he's looking for early ganks, and they have kind of angles in every lane to make them happen.
Yeah, and this is a pretty quintessential BDS draft as well. We talked about last game being a little bit surprising with the level of aggression that they're going for here. It's a lot of scaling options with Adam as the splash of kind of early game playmaking, powerhouse, split push, surprise champion picks. And so hopefully for BDS, this can be closer to game 1, but actually close out when they have their advantages around the neutral objectives, able to win some of these team fights. Like I say, there's a lot of pressure as well on Maple. He had a great Akali game, this time going on to one of the other popular melee assassin style champions in Sylas. But there are a lot of good ultimates to steal. It is true, but there's a lot of times where Sylas just doesn't look like he's doing anything.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the case the last time we saw it, which was against BDS, where they stole the Maokai ult. Who cares? You know, there's sometimes where if you don't have the setup all locked in, it doesn't actually do that much.
It's all about the setup. It's all about when and the where, not so much the how, but wait to see now. Again, slow start to this game. I imagine both teams going to be happy to scale up until level 6. Sheo going to have a bit of a reset there as well. And so I love what you see from PSG as well. You can see the early little bit of vision on the Krugs there to kind of make sure they weren't going to go for a dive in that top side. But Sheo, he's getting a bit creative with the pathing right now. He's going up towards that top side. Adam will have flash soon and level 6. So not far away from this. Maybe not on this wave, though. Maybe one more and he should be there.
Oh, both junglers going to be up here at the top side. No ult yet for Adam. This stun will actually lock him in.
He's going to go for a little bit of movement there. Aja getting caught out a little bit there. You can see Adam just trying to go for something. Flash forward. He got the shield down, but the first blood still goes over. over to the side of Aja. Sheo needs to flash forward. That means he's already condemned himself to death. He knows he has everyone else on the side of PSG coming up, so he'll donate that one over to Junja.
The 2-for-1 for PSG in the top side. I thought it was maybe going to go wrong after the flash W missed from Aja, but they had enough damage still to finish Adam off. That's one of the scariest things when you don't have just enough damage to finish off the Olaf, who starts getting all those bonuses at low HP. They finish that kill off. They grab about 1,000 gold advantage, both for the first blood and the extra kill going into their back pocket, which also buys time for the Caitlyn lane to continue shoving, grab their first turret plate.
Big play there from PSG. And the funny thing is that if the Olaf gets the kill, the Gnar dies first, then all of a sudden the Triumph comes in. It's a 2-for-0, and honestly, probably might even be a little bit more as well in terms of turrets and stuff like that, or turret plates at least. And now we can see Adam has flashed this time around. Has got ultimate as well, the Ragnarok. But like we said, the Ragnarok is not exceptional against Cataclysm. Luckily for him, Junja does not have access to that yet, but already we're seeing engage his bot side. Woody had to flash just because he was so afraid of Sheo going in and getting the lockdown.
Yeah, it seems like maybe miscounting the timer on the reset from Crowny, because even if you do have the Maokai there to follow up, there's not a level 6 Kaisa flying in on top of you to blow you up. Would have been a fine 2-for-2. So a bit of a misplay there by Woody, thinking he was under more threat than he was, and a nice play by Lebrov to kind of force that reaction out of him.
Just realized something.
What'd you realize?
We could have, potentially, because it was a 5-game series, had Adam spell out gods in a game, or in a series, because it's 4 letters. But yeah, but he can't do it. Now it's probably going to be like rods or something. Just it's not as epic, you know.
What did he play in game 1 again?
He played, what did he play? Scion.
Scion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the S. So it'll be
or just replace
Ross.
Just replace
Ross now.
Just replace Scion and
yeah,
Set.
but we can't get the G or the D. We can only get one of the two. Oh no, we could get 2.
Yeah, hey, we're
good.
Yeah, no,
you're right.
We're good.
I take it back. We might still have gods in this game. Or in this series, as we see now an engage on the spot side. They will get the CC down straight away here onto Labrov, but yeah, he's dead. He knows he is. He's not going to burn any summoners there, and just great call here from Junja to go, right, I know where I need to be. Bot lane was the call.
Yeah, found him over the wall, contesting some vision there, and critically as well, PSG able to channel that one onto Awako, doing what AD carries do best, walking up and stealing kills.
Oh, and stealing ultimates. Maple just subtracts Nuke from the map. Anything you can do, I can do better.
Luke was going for the play there. He was feeling himself a little bit, trying to get some momentum back in this game because it had not been going well so far. Ends up trading his own life under the turret, though. Maple on top of that play. Nice pull through the chains, getting over the Azir wall and pushing him back. We'll take another look at that after this bot lane play first. And here you see, like, just baiting on the Vision Ward. Jinjia, well-timed. Doesn't even need the knock-up, actually. Just having enough damage in the 3v2 situation. Then here, Woody was bloodthirsty. He threw one more auto there. And then here, doing a good job in the lane phase, but then the creeps dying or not being under turret range.
Oh, he just panics, and then it's a perfect sequence of plays there. Maple just absolutely smashed them.
They're laughing at a bit of a misplay there. I'm going back to see how he ended up dropping turret aggro despite having creeps around.
Yeah, they went at the turret.
They just were not quite in range yet, and that's why he got caught out. Unfortunate there by Nuke, not having a wave to escort him for that pressure. Now, BDS on the map, being a little thirsty, trying to get this Rift Hurl down if they can get it.
See what they can get. We just see Labrov taking a ace in the hole to the face, and then protecting Crowny on this bot side. But I mean, Crowny's going for the lethality build right now, so they are going for Assassination Nation, as they need to try and go for this one here. And Adam with his longsword shop. Level 6 has been hit here by Labrov, but I mean, it's so difficult to walk into a Rel and a Caitlyn. You're just going to CC for days.
Yeah, and the great thing about how this game's going for PSG is they have not really needed to babysit the Wako lane. There's been pretty isolated outside that 1 or 2 looks that Sheo's been able to find slightly down there, but not really under any threat. They are chipping this turret down very well on their own. Probably going to grab the second turret plate here in a second.
Zook dodges one thing, gets hit by another. The rest of it all comes down. He should be able to dash himself away. Interesting enough to see that Woody and Maple not willing to commit themselves anymore to that. Probably because the flash was still available for Nuke. They weren't going to get the kill. But again, just great kind of trigger discipline as well. Just forcing him out of lane. He doesn't have TP. That's going to be a wave lost.
Yep, able to get some pressure down there. Also, while grabbing the Rift Herald, they were able to make that play happen. So much control for PSG in this third and potentially final game. 2,000 gold advantage already in their back pocket. And some of the game plan for BDS off the rails.
I was going to say, Labrov does not want to get his ultimate stolen away by the by the Silas, so just going to try and walk himself away from that particular play. It means they have to be very isolated on this bot side. You can see that the Alistar having to go the long way around. Junja doing a very good job just making sure that everyone has to be very careful, very respectful, if you will, of how everything's kind of going down. As Nuke going to push in a bit of a wave here. As a bit of a trade. Some scones of ducks have been absolutely fantastic for Maple. Nuke just not a chance.
Yeah, already put back down to around 20% health. Going to be very difficult to continue laning. No teleport available. I'm going to have to go back to base right away again, getting these really awkward item purchases. Not able to finish off his Leandries quite yet. Dragon spawning in 2 minutes. Should have it by then, hopefully, but not feeling great.
No. We're starting to feel like game number 2. It's starting to feel like PSG are very, very comfortable. They know exactly where they need to be. They're controlling the map in such a great way. Even the fact that Woody's getting these wards, like consistently making sure there's no random play to come out from a TP that they can get caught out from.
Yeah, making sure Nuke's TP when it's up is not going to be able to go there. Adam, no TP available for here. Just keeping this pressure available so that Wako can continue just destroying this turret. Now we have Shale finding an angle, maybe.
Maybe looking for Woody, who does have the gravity field. Maybe going for the flash as well. They get the headbutt pulverized, but can they finish off the damage? That's the question. They finally do with a little bit of a smite there from Shale. They said, look, we tried to give it to you, Crownie, but you just weren't close enough.
Yeah, they were worried about having to wait for the Kaisa W to come back up or something like that. They finished that kill off, relieved some pressure around the bot lane, hopefully getting them caught out, looking for that jungle.
Jungler's having a little bit of a move here. See Wako moving forward. Wako's a little bit isolated now. May actually be getting jumped on and assassinated because you've got the lethality. TP coming in. That's going to be the Gnar with Mega. Looking for a little bit more. Flash by Crown. He keeps him there and alive. But he gets dragged all the way back in. But can they finish off the kills? That's the question. Nuke is here. Maple follows him just as quick as well. So, BDS not quite done just yet. A couple of quick kills, and they're only about 1,000 gold behind.
Yeah, absolutely. Flying right back into this game. Initially getting the pick off on Woody, who was being a little bit too aggressive in that bot lane, and then Wako, really crazy pathing, trying to whip that. BDS not fully out of the woods yet, as they have this Rift Herald to drop down for Aja to at least equalize some of the gold that now Adam is channeling up in the top side.
Adam should be able to get at least 2 plates from this, maybe a third. He hasn't got a huge amount of attack speed right now and no wave, so it's probably just going to be the 2 while the tower and bot lane does go down to reinstate that 2,000 gold lead. But, I mean, BDS, that's the kind of plays they need. Those are the kind of moments they need to capitalize on if they want to try and stay in this series, keep their season alive.
Yeah, it all starts from their own proactive play. It's one of the things where once you put pressure on the enemy team, you know, sometimes some mistakes start to show up. They kill Woody. Junjia's trying to scrap out Sheo. Then Wako takes a bad path. You find that kill. And then more mechanical mistakes follow after that. And gives BDS some very necessary breathing room. Get some gold onto the Olaf, which was absolutely critical. Going all the way back here to just some vision control. Going a little bit too aggressive about it. Woody should have known that Labrov was right there. Not going to survive that one mistake after seeing him kind of around the mid lane messing with the Silas like you called out earlier. You knew he was there. And then here's where they really lose it. Wako here, I don't know why you think you can just walk through here like this.
His name is Wako.
Yeah.
He walks.
I don't know if Junjia, what the call was. It was going to go bad no matter what, even if he didn't end up blast coning into the dragon pit there.
Oh, well, Crownie's dead. Labrov is just kind of sitting there awkwardly going,
it didn't happen on camera, but there was absolutely a stolen Azir ult flash insect under the turret to kill Crownie.
I mean, it's just the way it is. We talked about it, well, I talked about it at length for sure, about the ultimates you can steal here with Silas, and the playmaking Silas, or how good Silas can be, does kind of rely on those ultimates and when and where you use them. But look at the MasterCard lane economy snapshot. I mean, that's not what you need to be seeing if you're the Olaf. You picked this Olaf as the kind of the big pick. Yeah. You're down 1,100 gold.
Struggling into Nars recently at Worlds, unfortunately. Saving grace, Crownie's Kaisa, basically even in gold. You are staying relevant in this game, and there will not be very many resist purchase, most likely. The Jarvan build, oftentimes going for a Spear of Sojin second, means that you won't have to be punching through resist for a little while. We'll see what Gnar wants to go. Sometimes you see the Black Cleaver. Maybe they'll go something a little different this time to itemize against the armor, but you know, with how much true damage the Olaf can do as well, sometimes it feels bad. He can shred you as well, so we'll have to see what Aja wants to go, but most likely more bruiser-oriented. Here's this play again. Azir ult stolen. Gonna eat the minions, or just flash.
Immediately go for it. Just flash in, go for the Crownie, and There is blood on that crown.
And I gotta say, really heads-up play by Maple to jump the play because LeBron was wrapping around. You saw Shale's ultimate coming in at the very end there. They were absolutely setting up a dive there, and Maple just cuts that play off at the head by killing Crowny.
And that's the kind of momentum killer that PSG have been shown to do this entire play-ins. Like, yes, they were a little shaky in their first series, but they kind of slowly came back into that one there. And the fact that BDS were getting a couple of kills, were getting control back on the map, that just stifles that momentum. It kills it completely.
Yeah, huge play out of Maple. I gotta say, love the approach to the Silas here, going for the Electrocute and Pen burst damage build with Night Harvester. Some people go for the Conqueror and a lot of Ages or Everfrost. Yeah, no, I'd rather you just absolutely obliterate one target.
Blow someone up.
Yeah, it feels a lot better to play too. I much prefer it. As much as I love being a drain tank in the middle of a team, this is definitely the play, I think. Especially here, where if you can assassinate Crowny very quickly or Nuke, you can win the fight because you have so much DPS coming from the other positions on the map for you.
Well, Nuke does have TP and has pushed in that bot side. Both bot and top have been pushed in here by BDS. They're getting the lanes pushed in, and PSG are a little bit kind of unsure of how they want to do it. They want to get Aja to get up to that Mega before they really go for something right now. And they're taking a fair chunk of damage. The Rift Herald will reset.
Yeah, Crowny, or excuse me, Nuke did teleport back in after shoving out that bot wave. They could have sacked this one and just used his pressure to trade out a turret for it, but instead wanted to contest here.
Still going. They're looking for this. BDS know they have to go for something. Labrov on the backside looking for it. Woody gets caught out. Woody gets assassinated. They kill off one. Junja looks to the guy to get Cataclysm, but he can't get anybody else. Now, can they jump onto Wacko? He does have a flash available. Does only need the 90 counter Berlet, but can he get back over the wall? He's flashed forward, and they will get killed down. Nuke picks himself up that kill. And this is BDS putting down a marker saying we are not done just yet.
BDS staying alive in this series, perfectly playing that out, waiting for the Gnar ult to time out. Adam,
He's fine.
He's fine. We're not worried about it. We're fine. But yeah, great play out of them, contesting that. We weren't sure if they were going to go, if they're going to back off. I like the aggressiveness, letting them finish off that Rift Herald and playing for the fight instead.
Looking for a bit. There's the Adam ultimate now. Traded back there for the Alistair stolen one. They're all coming back in on top of this one here. Can Aja get away? He does have a flash should he need it. Woody in kind of no man's land right now. In the lethality build that we talked about, he's going to lose his flash. You'd almost certainly think so. As Crowny comes in, dodges out a little bit, and yep, there is the flash to go away. So, BDS not getting caught out, and if anything, kind of turning the tides a little bit in that fight as well.
Yeah, absolutely happy to trade some of those flashes that were burned there. Woody, when the primary engage tools losing that one, just trying to help follow up in the play. And here we go, waiting for the Mega Gnar to time out. Lebrov taking the wraparound Alistair ultimate angle here, and just the Maokai ultimate so powerful, isolating Woody, allowing Crowny to annihilate him with the Halo Blades and build there. And then Jinjia just not tanking at all yet, gets assassinated second, and the rest of the team has no way to follow through because the members were threatening from the blue buck ramp coming down.
PSG did get the Rift Heralds. They did secure that objective, but you lost 3 kills for it. Now, mid lane did go down. It's a 600 gold lead. BDS crawling back into this one little by little, bit by bit. They are sitting on a pretty big mid-game spike, especially with this lethality Kai'Sa, and now having the Olaf to be able to do so much work on the backside. The fact that they were able to isolate Woody came off the fact that everyone else on PSG was so concerned about what Adam was doing.
Yeah, the fact that Adam was able to get value in that fight was huge, and they are starting to stem the bleeding of the potential 1-3-1 setup of PSG. We saw what happened yesterday when the Olaf falls behind the Gnar. You start falling into threat of getting solo killed, or at least ran up lanes. And so here, while Aja is getting this solo turret, at least Adam is slightly more relevant. Maple is not snowballing quite so hard, despite getting 2 kills and looking pretty good. He's down a fair amount of CS.
He is indeed. They're going to try and assassinate him, but the buffer is good from Junja. A little bit of a flash as well, just to create that separation, but Dragon, no kill, so BDS still feeling okay about that trade, but they got to make sure that someone's dealing with Aja. He'll get this turret for free. No one's coming.
Yeah, Aja's getting pretty farmed at this point, grabbing a lot of turrets here. They do stop the Dragon stacking out of PSG, which is pretty critical, and Hex Dragon is a pretty fine reward as a result, but you do want to start dropping some of these turrets. There are still none available, and so while it is a 2k gold lead for PSG, there's a lot of standing gold available for BDS should they win or have another good one of these fights that they can actually convert into multiple turrets afterwards.
Doesn't know that Aja's still here. Goes in with the Mega Gnar. Can he get away from it? Oh, Woody!
Woody!
Oh, looking a bit more like Buzz there to infinity and beyond.
Oh, you insulted my boy Buzz?
Yeah.
Looking more like Mr. Potato Head after that. I don't know what that play was.
Well, Labrov is taking a fair chunk of damage. He might just die here, to be perfectly honest, if he's not too careful. The boomerang does not land. And that keeps him safe for the moment, but PSG not quite ready to let BDS have their victory lap just yet. They are still showing them that they are ahead, and they are still looking to make plays.
Aja is kind of keeping PSG in this game here. First up, getting the setup onto Nuke to threaten to kill him, and then getting Lebrov's ultimate out there in the chase down sequence. Woody, to be fair, the wall clipped him, made him short the W alt combination, then misses the Q, allowing Nuke to get out. But that's one of those plays where you might look back at it later and go, oh, if we just get that one, do we maybe start pressuring Baron on the tail end of that? Because it had just spawned. What more could you have gotten if you found that kill? Or at the very least, continue to accelerate Aja.
And the thing is, I love that you bring up this acceleration of Aja, because I don't know now, but I'm pretty sure he is the 2,000 gold lead onto... of course, we have the
Spectator client.
Spectator client.
You are correct, sir.
He is the 2,000 gold lead. So if Aja's not there, or if Aja gets taken out of the fight, then this is a much, much more even game, as that turret just about stays alive, but a sneeze will take it down.
At some point, BDS will cash in on these turrets. They are both so low, and actually across all three lanes are ripe for the taking if they can just get a little bit of pressure or a map movement down to grab them. Aja, like you said, though, going for the hull breaker build, kind of committing a little bit more to this split push style. He's playing extremely well, so I understand kind of indexing into your own play here. We were wondering what he would go next, if he would pick up some sort of resist. No, he is here to split push and win the game. Adam says he's had enough.
32 health. It's an insult if we leave that one up and available. So they get that little bit of gold. It's nice to get it into everyone there available, but for now, you can see that PSG very aware that this Dragon, or this Baron, I should say, is a big threat that BDS could go for. You have got an Azir, an Olaf, and a Kai'Sa. You will burn through it.
Yeah, absolutely. Even Maokai going for the Demonic Embrace. Red Smite will burn quite a bit. And so, while the gold lead is still in PSG's favor, it is being kept closer than that game 2, which you can see was a very, very quick acceleration in that 20-minute mode. And this time around, PSG don't have the clearest way to advance the game plan. Of course, you can split Aja. Of course, he can try and make plays happen. That feels like the only power point, because the Caitlyn no longer is able to just free shove waves over and over again. They've done a really good job on the side of BDS of jumping on top of Jinjia when he steps too far forward. Or Woody, they have kind of stifled the primary engagers. And without that, there's no easy way for Maple in.
Like the Junja is just kind of saying, look, you're stacking these little cats in this brush right now. There were like 3 or something like that, so he's just baiting them out, getting the flag and dragging them. Yeah, honestly, with the damage he's able to get onto them, it might be a one-shot territory, but turret does go down in mid lanes. That's 2 of the 3. And that brings us to, again, just under a 2,000 gold lead. It might be enough there for Nuke, who's agonizingly close towards a Rabadon's death cap. He is, unfortunately, a fair bit away from having the extra 1,200 he needs to finish it off, but for now, everything seems to be just kind of calming down. The calm before the storm, as PSG recognize they're not as far ahead as they were in the last 2 games. They need to make sure they don't fumble this game.
Yeah, it's a question of how they want to advance it here, because you have 45 seconds on the Dragon spawning, but you don't really want to put Aja up in the top side, because it's unlikely he can take an inhibitor turret by himself. But then if you're on the bot side, where there is an inner turret still up, you are already close to the Dragon. So does kind of naturally lead to a situation where you probably are going to contest this, but BDS has done very, very well around the neutral objectives this time, and we'll see if they can yet again, Lebrov and Sheo combo together to isolate the frontline members of PSG for Crownie and Nuke to just blow up.
The thing is, Aja has got the hull breaker, great for pushing the lanes, but he has, as you mentioned, been very tentative to being pushing too far over, doesn't want to overcommit to it, and again, when you go with that hull breaker build, it does mean that you're not as keen to be in those team fights as early as you possibly can. So we'll see. Dragon spawning now in 3 seconds. BDS look to try and stack that objective for themselves. Getting attack speed and ability haste onto something like an Azir could be huge going later into the game.
Absolutely. Multiple big item breakpoints coming through. Wako finishing his IE before this, going for the crit focus build, not grabbing the Gale Force. Going to see if they can stop this Dragon, excuse me.
Yeah, they're going to go for the stolen Maokai ultimate from Maple as he throws it across. We're going to see them try and go for a fight. It's a bit of a cross of the lanes. There we go. BDS secure themselves the Dragon, but they are stunned up a little bit. Crownie gets jumped on and immediately predicted on the backside. Aji can't finish him off. Neither can the Silas. They're going to try and maybe mirror this back right back on top of Caitlyn, and she goes down. They're trading this one back. It's a 2 for 2, I should say. For the moment, they will use those Hex Gates to get Aja right back in. The switcheroo! Oh, he's on the floor. What can you do, BDS? Labrov, why are you there? Run away. Stay away from there. Get out of there. You can't be here. You're 6 levels down. God damn it.
Lebrov, you got out. Why would you walk back in? He's fine. He did it. Wow, what a crazy fight. That was so close to being a massive wipe by PSG.
Aja absolutely having a monstrous ultimate there. He's not done. He's got a red buff. He wants to scrap.
He wants to scrap indeed. He's getting Mega now as well. He might be able to get himself the kill and get himself out for free. Kai'Sa's around, but I don't think that Crowny wants any of this smoke, and that's just Aja bringing this play right back a little bit in favor of PSG.
Aja has put on the hero pants. He was already wearing them for most of this series, having an incredible Game 1 and Game 2, and continuing it into Game 3 here. This time, Sheo, we talked about him not having the best smites this series, been getting outsmoked a little bit. This time he grabs it, but Jinjia and Aja perfectly timed wombo combo, catches the flash out of Crowny, but has the ult to survive. And then from there, Maple's not able to land the E, and he's just on chase down sequence the rest of this fight, whereas Nuke was in the pit, able to hit multiple important members.
Yeah, Maple didn't really do a lot of damage at all, but we're going straight back into the action right there. We're going to steal away the Alistar ultimate as we look to try and make this fight work. They're a little bit isolated, though, because that Maokai ultimate's doing it work in its own right. Nuke picked up the first kill. They get Maple back over the wall as he gets himself an ultimate stolen away from the Alistar. Now they're turning and burning onto Sheo, who's very tanky, but is he tanky enough to survive against all this damage? The shutdown, but Azir falls at the end of it all. It's a 2 for 3! It's a 3 for PSG! And that is going to get them right back into this. Well, this game is getting scrappy.
It's getting crazy. Angelina Jolie bends the bullet around the target there to finish him off. Wanted Sheo and finished him, but so crazy how much damage there is in this game relative to the tankiness. The fact that Sheo with Red Smite, Demonic first, has a nice health pool, but not the tankiest. Lebrov and Maple actually with their ultimates are going to be some of the tankier members here. Woody just gets annihilated. The Pen Kai'Sa build, I don't know why anyone builds anything else. Yeah, honestly, unless it's multiple tanks with tons of resist, just do this build, because you can see what happens when you step slightly too far forward. Maple's annihilated, absolutely deleted there, and then here it is, the little bit of cleanup that comes in at the very end. Sheo dying with Jinjia up. I wonder under the replay if they're going to be rushing back to this Baron here, or if they will taking it slow, but still a fight win out of PSG here in a very tense third game.
Yeah, I mean, Crowny tried his hardest to jump in front of that bullet right there. He really, really did, but there's the win probability powered by AWS. It's still in favor of PSG, but BDS are not letting this one go lightly. Labrov will have his ultimate back up and available. No flash available for a little bit of an engage. No flash is pretty much for anybody on the side of PSG in terms of the engagers, so they're going to be very, very aware that they can't just walk forward and just tank up things like they did the last few fights.
Yeah, another double Shojin build this time. Actually grabbing it as well. I can't help but wonder if you're going to be grouping this much, you know, gotta go for some resist instead, because Crowny is going to melt anyone who steps too far forward. Same with Nuke, honestly, now with the death cap finished off. And you can see them having some priority on this dragon. Gonna hit it and start it out.
Starting it, clearing out the vision for the moment. They will have that blast cone to potentially use over the wall as Adam tries to play keep away. Crowny and Sheo doing the work right now. Ooh, Aji takes a huge chunk of damage. Junja walking away from this one here, but I don't think he's going to get out with his life. No, he is not. Labrov perfectly placed to try and keep everybody off. The Baron still on 4,000 HP as Aja has to back away. He's not going into Mega just yet. Crowny gets caught. Crowny's still alive. They shove back the Wacko as he finally gets caught down. They're looking for Crowny. How has he survived? Just about taken away. Sheo can't finish off this Baron. He needs Adam. He needs his top laner. They need to go back on to do this damage. Aji has been the carry of this team for PSG in game number 3. He's looking for a little bit more damage. The smite can't come out just yet. Finally does go in. He's kiting it. He's kiting it. He's looking for more. Adam, you need to run away. You need to use that damage. Oh, nearly a touchdown. No, he's not quite close enough. Oh my God. But at the end of it all, Baron for BDS, but PSG, they made him work.
We're getting a good game here finally in game 3. BDS staying alive.
I thought for a second there Aj would find the 2 cleanup kills and deny all the Baron buffs, but he just can't quite do it. Jinjia getting exploded here. Lebrov providing a better front line, requiring more resources here. And once the jungler is down, there's a huge pressure on PSG to stop BDS from being able to smite this Baron.
Look at Crowny. He gets CC'd by the Baron, and how does he live?
Someone took the Baron aggro, so he did not go onto him. Maple with the hero play. All right, we don't got time.
We don't got time. We don't got time for your analysis. We don't got time to break down the plays because BDS have the momentum. The crowd behind them, they want more games. The Red Bull Baron power play at their back. And they're looking to go onto Soul Point as well. The poke coming out here from Crowny is monstrous. but Aja is huge as well. You can see Maple off to the side here, looking for a bit of a
Why
flank. Has
doesn't
got
he want-
Lavrov's ultimate, the unbreakable will. Can he make something work? Getting a little low, Gunja goes in a little early. The Cataclysm now down. The smite comes in. Sheo gets it again. That's the third one on swing. And the next by Maple. They can start to isolate him and get true damage in. Lavrov just keeping everybody else away. Flashes forward. Jumps in onto Wako. And that's the play you need. Aja will try and turn it around like he did at Baron, but not today. Massive shutdown.
Come on, let's get another game.
That's gonna be it. They have the bear buffalo wave in the mid lane and then the war. Zero.
BDS. BDS.
Any heroics left to try and save this game.
He's gonna have to pull out all the stuff. Not quite level 16, so not quite sure he can take that out just yet again. Then Nexus is in their sights. BDS keeping themselves alive at Worlds, looking to make a big statement game.
What?
They won't end the game just yet. They know how tentative it is.
Oh.
It's a
Fair enough. Yeah, the pro players. Maybe, yeah, because the mouse was.
The great thing here for BDS is not only do you get kills with Dragons, which is fantastic, but you burn so many smites or so many flashes from that last fight. You've got so many resources. Look across the board, nobody has anything. You've got a couple of teleports, but it's not really going to be what you're dealing with such a powered up BDS.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the features of BDS truly outscaled with the guys and here. Obviously, late game, Silas is no joke. The rest of the team does drop off, especially when I imagine focus on still right now you are losing here.
I mean, they're trying to Aja some kind of time on top side. You've got the snap traps going down. You've got the Stolen thrown out trying to delay it.
So I don't have a hammer.
Maybe I can break
So
up
he uses this.
Aja has got a fierce amount of damage without short
But I have a hammer.
PSG cannot skate forward enough to interrupt the recalls. Gunja drop the flag, try and swap them. Maybe even interrupt some recalls. Not the case here. Baron buff timed out now. Alright, Mark. You got a game. You got a game. Maybe a series. I'm not going to say it just yet. No. We got to wait till the next. As is a play-by-play fight.
What do you want to see? How do BDS finish this one off? Where do you want to see them look for?
I think as much fun to try and group up and make that happen, I think grouping just to control Aja a little bit, pressure from after action whenever he splits because he's going to show up for any of these defenses. Just try and pull out PSG as best you can until neutral objectives spawn, because you have a potential barrier for Hex trade. We have 3 arguments on you. So you can take whichever side of that trade PSG is not want. You can also contest them if you want to go for it. There's so much going in BDS in favor right now beyond the goal beat and pressure from having the mid inhibitor crack. So they have a very, very strong position to play to these neutral objectives from here on out. Don't get over greedy, don't dive space. You're doing great.
Take a deep breath. LEC fans, EU fans, let's all calm ourselves and center ourselves. This game is not over. This series is not over. PSG have plenty available to them. They want to try and win this game. It's going to come down to what could be in the moment of brilliance. TP flank from Aja.
Come on. Oh. He's out. No.
Don't know if he's going to be able to get this one. He will not. Luckily to the side of BDS, it's just a kill. Doesn't mean anything to the grand scheme of objective for a minute.
50 seconds on death timer.
They TP for that. Yeah, it was a TP.
I like BDS response here. Short medium waves in, make them react. They can't get too much vision set up from Baron, but that's maybe not enough vision. Look at the vision they have on the left,
but they don't really have a lot on the power pit or even their own jungle. BDS decide it's not worth going for the big risk just yet. They're going to back themselves away because PSG is looking towards the bot side. The Hex Soul is far more important than the Baron right now. Yes, on their minds, that's going to go.
That does take longer to respawn. Will give you plenty of time to teleport back in to contest that in the 5v5.
The
Kittens moving forward.
scarce
amount of damage. This thing doesn't look like it does a lot initially, but when you start to take them down with the
AP here, Crowny.
Oh no.
Lavrov has to pop his whole spinning
CCA does pop himself over. Lavrov gets caught. They're going to try to get on the Junja. They know they kill the Jungler. There's no way this might fight this now. We'll move back into play. We're going to see them go straight in. They're using all the ultimates. Trying to make this one work. Trying to jump down on top of Maple. He has to sacrifice himself for the betterment of his team. But he will fall. 4v4 both objectives on the map.
Massive mistake by Maple there. You can just sit on top of Adam and front to back. That team fight takes
the chains in. Pops in the middle of the lane. By the time he's stasis with an Alistar, you're already 20% health. PSG, after finding that great initial pick,
over it set, they thought they were calling the bluff even.
Or the bluff, I should say.
BDS following them, dude.
Gets jumped on by the Junja,
kind of gets him down. Can he kill the Junja? Can he get a right? Can he get one of those saves?
Uh-oh. I know.
Hits him on the backside of this play.
Oh!
He's not here. What is this? Another flash of the wall.
Oh!
PSG mechanically making its stage left and right, getting BDS taking the right macro calls, splitting Brownie there. BHB is really talking about the neutral objectives. PSG trying to win a fight. That's the only way back into this game. Just came up too short, taking him out of Elizabeth. Initially, great slow down chase onto LeBron, and with the cable straps, there's just no way out for instance. Go in here, try and make something happen because Duke's showing up the backside of the fight, but if able to get out here, Adam decides to go. And initially, just back, just hit the Olaf, just hit the Olaf. No, hit the live, we're going back into live, we're going to see them on over.
Oh? Yeah!
The series isn't over, this game is everything to them, and their worlds just stand so close to being over, but they're hanging on.
So hard with it.
Grabbing the soul of this sequence, and here grabbing the Baron, giving no neutral objectives to the side of PSG. LeBron running defense here, making sure they can't reset and cut the wave potentially, helping shove them out there.
See the pings going down now for the base of PSG. This year, BDS has only dropped one game when they've had soul. Which is kind of incredible in its own right. Nobody sold in any game kind of thing, but they've got the Baron, they've got the Hexal, they have the scaling. They just need to blow up the Nexus. It's still a hard battle. Not once they get just yesterday they had a game where they almost lost the fight and had it sold.
Normally, the team that gets Hexal has like a 90% chance to win, right?
Able to do it here. 2 minutes left on the Baron power play. Already 500 gold.
Here you're going to see it again.
Cute idea, but way too far ahead of the clock. They needed to stack up his rage a little bit more before going for a flank like that. And decision by BDS to annihilate him once he ports in.
They get the Baron off of it. 7,000 gold means very little at this point. You can see there. As I cough and didn't want to hold everyone's eardrums.
Everyone's pretty cool. Yeah, you know what? I'm a man of the people. trying to help out our headphone users a little bit, but everyone's kind of full items.
Crowny's done. He's got a Zhonya's alongside the Zhonya's that was picked up by Nuke. His Olaf has been decent, 6, 2, and 5.
Building up such a huge advantage, despite how far behind he was.
Yeah, this is something where
the BDS carries are fairly far ahead of the one
side of PSG. No death cap completed for Maple yet. Still trying to work that one down. Only 5 items to walk up compared to the 6 of Crowny. It means that you do want to try to end this game before the gold kind of becomes meaningless. Yeah, you want to make sure you're not. Have to go back to the base there.
Just have the line of snap traps to be able to try and stop anyone from moving forward. But all they need is one window to open. Inhibitor in the bot lane has fallen, and they get themselves 2 inhibitors.
That is the question. Stolen Maokai ultimate from Maple gets thrown out. Now everyone just kind of backs themselves away.
Blocking by Lavrov.
Tries to look for an engage on Junja. Takes a huge amount of damage.
Oh,
gonna have to walk away.
thank you.
Inhibitor down. They're being made work for it. They're being made push so hard for BDS. This is step 1 of the 3.
And they are already at 40 minutes. They are strapping themselves in
for a long haul for the Swiss stage, but they're not going for it.
He's looking up, he's very isolated. It's almost like
Oh, no!
he gets knocked back. Has
Flash gets himself over the wall. Gonna look for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
He's dead. Q assassinated Crowny now with very
Okay. Stop. Double stop one. Oh no, he's dead. That's Caitlyn left. Oh, Hexo! Yes! Oh, he hit him again! Oh! Oh, TP! Ah! Yes!
We are headed to game 4. BDS rally in this game. Finally taking away the Kaisa. And it was a hard-fought game. It looked like PSG was in control with a good early game again, but they rallied back. BDS making it hard for themselves, but still coming out on top.
Got a series. Don't stand up too quickly. Come on, let's get in the game. Still working here. I wish I had a hammer. It'd be so easy to
Yeah, definitely. They felt like they start off the build, maybe not the off the way with the Hullbreaker, but that's neither here nor there. For BDS, how sweet would it be to have, if you're BDS fan, the reverse sweep to miss MSI that happened in the hands of Mad Lions and Spring Split, to then, if you're able to do a reverse sweep PSG to get into the main stage of Worlds.
Getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. Just a little. The excitement. Getting very much excited, but we're going to send it over. Very excited, Colbert.
I imagine. Talk about getting ahead of yourself. Go for it. You're the one that called it coming in. Just C3 that they won here.
Don't make it easier. Yesterday you were saying they were going to lose.
How do you say that a little bit here? If they manage to pull this off, how about you wear this for cooldown
Yeah,
later tonight?
how about that?
For context, that shirt is stanky.
It is really stinky. I went working out and I haven't had the chance to wash it yet.
Why did I say yes?
But you did just say yes, so I appreciate
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So you're clearly going to be ready for PSG, but I mean, what a turnaround. I think every single game has felt wildly different. Slow game 1 to PSG dominating game
now. Just full on team fights. What was the biggest shift here for BDS?
I mean, let's talk about Heist finding coming through from Crowley.
I think while you're watching the team fight, at times he did still short on it. The short range was a bit difficult for him to pilot. But the champion is still that good that even if it's not your comfort champion, you'll still
look good on the champion.
I also
think the fact that we weren't looking at it necessarily, his reaction first pick, that was super good. Having Duke and one of the two comfort, always when see it coming through as well, it makes a huge shift.
Yeah, for me, the one pick that I was curious about because of its risk was Caitlyn. Caitlyn, first time seeing it come through. Obviously, it was sitting at first, range advantage in lane, but past that, you're really difficult going up against a really beefy front line. Not only you have to wait for the Maokai ult, you have to wait for Alistar to not be a nuisance. And then there's the range disadvantage you have to deal with. The threat of Alistar just walking at you. Waco's walking in and dying in a lot of fights, unable to do anything.
Yeah, and just think like push back Olaf and All-Star, and you talk about the laning phase where you're supposed to bully. It was a 41 gold advantage. 40, not 41,000, not 1.1k, 41 gold. That technically didn't get the lead that he needed. I mean, going into the early game, that's 14 minutes. You only had a lead on that, bro. But, you know, kind of got some
The support depth you're all talking about. I will say, LeBron in
the team fights was really good. There was like the one where he got picked off, but even when he was getting picked, he was turning it around and looking for angles. Like you were saying, making it so hard to watch.
Because even when I'm talking about the draft, overall, I thought PSG should be able to win with
the lead that they had early on, with how fed Silas was, I thought this was an amazing Silas.
So Maple being able to pick out Silas here and the way that he played it out, great. So like for instance, the Kaisa walking into
Love a comeback. Love a comeback game. Just
yes, and then after a while, you are right. LeBron, I think, was the turning point because he was able to in the Rick Herald fight really slam.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to that Rick Herald where
takes the portal. A little bit of beneficial from the Rift there. Thank you, Riot. Thank you, Hextech. But also coming through with a great flash over to secure a kill. And this is really where it starts. PSG, that gets scattered. Nuke gets to come over the wall, and this is almost pixel perfect out of range, where he gets to walk out of the chain again there from Mabel. And he was super scary at the silence at this point in time, but it was not the macro. It was every single team fight where I come down to BDS just taking it.
Yes, and I think that was a great play. I do think it started with a few misplays prior to that. The one time where Caitlyn walked through enemy tri-bush to join on a pick and then got collapsed on clearly. So it was like, okay, you're making mistakes now. Hopefully you start to get it together before Herald, but by the Herald fight, Alistar's online. As you mentioned, great flank that you were able to find there, and then Crownie was able to come in and finish the kill.
What's really interesting is that these objectives would come through, and then BDS would go back to, all right, let's take care of them out, let's make sure we don't get down. And then we're waiting for the next objective, and that brings us to the next Drake, where they slowly but surely started getting their own Drake stacking going as well. You can see it in this instance, and huge credit to Sheo in this game, because pretty much every single Drake fight came down to a Smite versus Smite against Junjia, and Sheo had it pretty much every time. This is one of the team fights where Crownie had the cleanse earlier, could have cleansed the Sejuani, Maokai ult from Silas, but they still managed to trade even for it and get out with some Hextech technology.
Yeah, and through all of that, I think Wako, I saw him get one auto attack down. There was an Alistar in his face the entire time, and the second he gets in range, it's instantly in a 0 ult over the wall.
Mission impossible, we're able to get out just at the very tail end. So yeah, I saw the tale of 280 carries in that team fight. Not only was Kaisa Crownie able to get out with the skin of his teeth, and then you get to
By
see
the skin of his teeth. There we go.
Thank you.
Not in the skin of his teeth.
That's also very disgusting.
Very different.
That'd be very disgusting, but I like the mental imagery. But then on the other side, Wako was just struggling to get an auto off. And yeah, I had Alistar in front of it. And then so he just decided to walk past the Alistar at that point. Azir saw him, was able to catch him. So you're like, yeah, you're struggling at that point to be relevant. You were so close. I think the flash chain by Silas, if he was able to hit, would have been a huge turning point for the fight, but he was just that close. Crownie played the fight well.
Yeah, I think he really did. I also think almost quietly, Adam was super influential in the fights. I mean, Olaf into effectively 4 melee champions and a Caitlyn to DPS him down. That's just not going to work. And we actually get a look at him with those gods champions in the Big Baron team
fight.
You know,
I don't care if they thought it was because it was his last game at Worlds and he needed to get the O and the Olaf as well, but I want to see more of this, okay? I don't care if you have to blind pick it. It makes a difference. It clearly does. And also you can see that, of course, we have this here. We got the Kai'Sa too. Yeah, it makes sense. But in a team fight, no one's going to make as much as an impact on the enemy team when they don't know what they're playing up against as Crownie does on these champions. We see it with the Olaf. We saw it with the Garen against Golden Guardians. He just makes an impact.
100%. We can take a look at an insane fight around the Baron as well that ended up being really the straw that broke the camel's back.
Oh, absolutely. And it's kind of the same instant as before where Labrov is around that wall. I think he had an insane series here. Well, sieging as well 4 members while the rest of them takes care of Junjia. This one became a bit closer as well with how low everyone became. And Crownie there got knocked up by Baron, which makes it even more close. But luckily, Nuke is there to scoop in Wako, and it means they kind of trade the 80 carries 1-for-1 after Mabel takes down Crownie.
I take a step back and just see how crazy this game actually was.
I mean, it was all of these small things, wasn't it?
Yes, because like I thought BDS played this fight well to disengage when they already had gotten the kill off the jungler. I was like, okay, now we're in a man advantage. But then Baron tactical plays a part in it.
We get the cats here as well. I wonder if we have the cats coming through as well.
Yeah, just trying to chase down Ajay. Yeah, so close to getting the call in the back end. No, seriously, like, you talk about the Hextech Rift being the 6th man for BDS. Baron was the 6th man for the PSG in that team fight. Just absolutely ridiculous stuff. Now, it does look like PSG Talon have selected blue side in Game 4. And importantly, they're going to get side selection in Game 5 as well if we end up there.
True.
I think everyone has to be looking at Kai'Sa as the pick here. Neither AD carry has found a good answer into it, I feel, so far.
No, I completely agree. And it's going to be difficult as well now going over to the red side because you still don't want Archie to play the Kennen. You still don't want him to play the Rumble. That only leaves you with one ban option. So if they don't ban Sire on blue side and you see yourself forced to ban the Kai'Sa, well, then they still get a Sire for free and you don't have the best response into that yourself.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference maker within the draft is when they ended up going blue side and moved away from the Renekton and decided to start picking good support jungle matchups, specifically Maokai, Alistar. Great structure front to back, makes it so much easier for the Azir and Kai'Sa to get the work done. Only concern, as you would expect, like we started at the beginning of this segment, was the early game. As long as they don't fall too far behind, Maple got too much done early, because PSG can look back at that and say, let's run that comp back, play a little bit better. I think that's the only thing BDS has to be concerned about, and then they'll just have a much better late game.
I want Azir in the first 3 for BDS so they can lock that in, and I want counter pick for Adam. For now, Team BDS are still alive at Worlds 2023, but to make it to the Swiss stage, they need to do something they've never done before, a reverse sweep. Let's see if they can make history tonight as the series continues with game number 4.
Gotta start fighting and have some
win
skill.
one, so we do a BDS win, okay? We don't need to win 3 games. We need to win 1. No, we still need to win 3. You know what I mean, Granny. We need to win 1, and so we lose the other 2.
Oh, and stealing ultimate Maple just subtracts Nuke from the map.
Kill the ref, kill the ref. Yeah, nice.
Right.
Nice.
Go, let's go. Labrov just keeping everybody else away. Flashes forward, jumps in onto Wacko, and that's the play you need. Aja will try and turn it around like he did at Baron, but not today. Massive shutdowns, 5 kills, that could be game. We have no time to waste, Mark Z. We are jumping straight into picks and bans for our 4th game of this best of 5. BDS bounce back, but they gotta do more than that if they want to try and take this series.
Yeah, it's going to be a long, hard-fought victory. They have not made it easy losing on day one to Team Wales, forcing them to make the run through the losers bracket. They did 2-0 those next 2 series, but here, making themselves have to commit to a reverse sweep to make it. But I gotta say, the EU fans are with them.
Oh, yeah.
Of all the people, there are a lot of EU casters on my timeline who are extremely excited. And somehow I am here.
Yeah. You get to have a front seat, dead center of all the action.
I see Medic freaking out, Draco's freaking out, Goldberg's throwing his hands all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we got to be the independent adjudicators, you know? We got to be very
surely.
Because this is the thing, we were having a little chat, well, you know, obviously during the break, and we were kind of talking about, like, kind of where did it go wrong for PSG, and they kind of just stopped doing things. It was kind of like 15, 16 minutes, doing grand, 2,000 gold up, the NAR was so far ahead, and then everything just stopped, and they didn't really look for any kind of proactive plays.
No, and then a lot of the plays that they did look for were quite mechanically misplayed. So I think there's a lot of things for PSG to improve. For BDS, you sort of found a foothold back into the series, potentially, where you were able to get the Maokai. That looked great for you. Now, Crownie's Kaisa, excuse me, maybe some people had some things they wanted to see improved on it, but at least he played it and was able to take it away from Wako, which I think is a big part of that, because then he's on Caitlyn suddenly. It's not nearly the same thing, and even sometimes a denial pick, regardless of if you're SSS plus tier edit, at least they are not getting that. So I thought all those kinds of things were really big, and here we'll see how PSG wants to react now that they are on blue side. You can see them banning a couple of Crownie's champions, but if you don't first pick the Kaisa here, I would expect them to just take it themselves.
I was gonna say, like, you're gonna go ahead and get the Maokai for yourself. Yes, the Maokai was very powerful. Sheo looked fantastic on it comparatively to things like the Talia in the series, but surely you just go Kaisa Sejuani here.
Yeah, you can play either
or even
side.
Rakan.
Sure. I mean, you can go whatever you want. I think the Kaisa is the one thing I would not want to negotiate on, because I do not want to see that in Wako's hands again. But I would say, yeah, just grab the other side of the Sejuani or grab the Rakan, because you do not need to match jungle immediately, and then you can save both soul lanes for phase 2.
Yeah, and back yourself here, Crownie. You did the job you needed to do in that last game, and you get yourself the Kaisa. Like we said, they may look for a jungler. They may look to try and just get a support locked in and loaded. We'll see what way they want to try and work with it for the moment. But, I mean, great confidence boost there for the side of BDS to be able to try and push themselves and say, look, we can take the trade of the Maokai and the Kaisa. And the Ivern gets through.
It was being banned out in phase 2 usually, I believe. So here he is able to grab it. And you can see, when you talk about the attitude of the BDS players, having more smile on their face. You saw Sheo kind of cycling through a lot of 80 champions. They're feeling good about themselves after that long, hard-fought game and knowing, like, hey, we're still in the series. You know, the dream is not dead just quite yet.
Well, PSG going to go back to an old favorite, you would imagine, with the Jace combination with the Maokai. So powerful at just controlling areas. The poke that comes out from these two champions, just absurd. But now, you're kind of in a situation. Do you take your 80 carry here, or do you try and deny that Rakan away? There's a couple of different options now available where the draft gets a little bit muddied.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they want to go, because BDS is also very happy to play kite-back compositions when they have this Ivern as well. Kaisa, not really a kite-back champion, despite having that poke available. At some point, you're going to want to go flying in there. As we see the Aphelios come through, Wako is an incredible Aphelios. He absolutely smurfed on kids with this in MSI, but not the highest priority champion in the current meta.
No, it's taken a fair amount of wax with the Nerf hammer over the last few patches as we tried to shake him out of the meta. But I mean, just having access to so many different varieties of engage and disengage and damage and all these different things, he is still an exceptional pick regardless of when and where you take him. But BDS not wasting any more time. They're not going to go with the Rakan themselves. They're going to take away the Nautilus and start banning away things that can deal with this Kaisa poke like we mentioned before.
Really like the Nautilus pickup here. I know Nautilus Death Fund is always something on high alert for people, but it does work very well with the Kaisa, both in terms of wave clear, which is being able to cast your abilities on the wave and shove it quite quickly. You have a lot of setup, a lot of ways to apply plasma stacks. Very strong champion to combo with her, so like to see Labrov on this one, who, again, is having a pretty good series. There were some things in that Alistar game which were a little scary, but mechanically he has been on point for the most part.
Yeah, the Hexgate switcheroo, and then just gonna go, and you know what? I could go for a little more.
Maybe I can clear awards.
Maybe I could take the 1v1 against the Gnar, and it's like, please don't, please don't do this.
Did end up living there, but yeah, definitely some moments where I think people were getting pretty hyphy and needing to take a moment, get a breather. And here we are, the bans. The Nard gotten rid of after seeing the Olaf taken out,
and the Azir. So two things that were very prominent in the win for BDS in that last game, no longer available. So where do they want to try and take this draft? I feel like you can maybe go for your mid lane, give Adam that counter pick again. You should be able to get him a very decent matchup, regardless of what the side of Aja takes.
Yeah, and we'll see Crowny. I was going to ask where he was going to go. He is a control mage player going to one of his staples in the Casio. No surprise to see that exactly, though it is not what you typically see in the meta. It's a Jace for most people.
It is kind of his champion. It does feel like it is very much a nuke thing to put in there. And I will say, like, you know, kind of putting down the miasma, stopping things like the Maokai and the Jason just running at you and kind of slowing them down can lead to decent things, but it does take a while to ramp up. So the Jax gets in for Aja. Now, where do you want to try and take this last pick? And then, honestly, I still think the Rakan is semi-decent, but has a lot of things that can deal with it, unfortunately, on this side of BDS.
Yeah, I would also not mind just committing to even more healing, potentially, because you outrange the Casio and Kaisa right now. And so if you can, you know, rock forward with Green Gun or throw your turret down, these sorts of things, while also shock blasting and minions, or sapling, excuse me, it becomes a little annoying for BDS's comp to play. They'll have to land some engage. And going for a bit of a 4-1 here with Wako once again, throwing down the gauntlet, saying, what else do you have other than Renekton? The Garen is up. He has played it into Jax a few times. I know people debate how good it is in the 1v1, but with Ignite, you tend to win them, it seems like, and so it would be no surprise if Adam goes for the G.
We got the G, the O, and the S. If we go to a game 5, I need to get the Darius on that particular pick, but the Garen does get locked and loaded here for the side of BDS. They're very comfortable with kind of getting at him on these particular picks, and again, it does feel like, as you say, depending on who you talk to, it's a counter, it's not, it's all these different things. When Adam plays it, you have to start feeling like, with having an Ivern on his back, he's going to be able to make things happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is what we wanted after watching that one Scion game, which is the S currently in Gods. It was not the one you wanted, though, and it left a lot to be desired, where he just couldn't have an impact on the map. Here, there's no way that there is not stuff happening between Jax and Garen, excuse me. And for the rest of BDS, again, it's going into their comfort for the most part. The biggest splash here is arguably Crowny on the Kaisa, but again, it's a takeaway from Wako forcing further down his own priority list.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, for BDS, this could be the turning point. Kaisa has been let through by the side of PSG. They did not first pick it. Was that the key pick coming into this series? Was that the piece of information that PSG maybe underestimated, maybe overestimated on their way to answer it? So, for them, PSG still have a job to do. They still know what they need to do in order to come out with a victory here. It's just win. It's that simple. It's a
just win.
Just win. It's that easy. But they've done it twice. Can they do it a third time for BDS? And they take an all-important second step to getting themselves back towards the reverse sweep. Took them a while in game number 3. See how much cleaner or not it will be in game number 4.
We'll see what they can cook up for us here. Also, with the Nautilus, level 1s are interesting. You also have Ivern, interesting level 1s. We'll see if they have something, because that is what BDS is sort of known for. And they are no strangers to making games a little crazy.
Crazy is our game. It's LPL, not LECs. Well, the level 1s were predicted, if you will, but not spotted out for the moment. Everyone just grouped together. Nobody gonna find anything of any worth.
They are spotted out, and BDS does spot the fact that they were spotted out, and now PSG going for the long wraparound. Are you stronger level 1 in a 5v5 face check? I'm not sure.
So. I don't think so with an Ivern, unfortunately, and an Ignite on the Garen as well. So
Garen spinning on 5 people feels pretty good, I will say. If you get a 5-man knock-up with Woody, and Maple has extra buttons because he's Jace level 1.
Yeah.
But nothing will happen, unfortunately.
Nothing will happen, but the vision was cleared, so PSG happy with the information they were able to garner. BDS now recognizing that everything's just kind of calmed down again. So, coming back into this matchup, coming back into kind of the top lane, if you will, I want to see Adam really put pressure onto Aja. Aja has an exceptional series. In that last game, it just felt like he kind of lost his way a little bit on the Gnar, but he was still doing exceptional work in this, and Adam has been put in his place.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a 1v9 for Aja. This series has been absolutely popping off. And while Adam did have a much better game in the previous one, in the mid to late game portion, having really incredible team fights on Olaf, which can be difficult to do, the laning phases have largely gone Aja's way, and we'll see if this Garen pick can finally win him one early on, because that might throw a whole new dynamic into this series.
We won't get hyped up for a Nautilus level 1 hook just yet.
Hey, bro, he took 200 HP off him. That's it.
And his passive's going to come up in about 3 minions.
He's gonna heal himself back up.
Yeah, he'll be fine. So, I mean, look, it's kind of how we see it. But it does give priority over to the side of BDS. It is the way of the Aphelios matchup. Aphelios isn't really a champion at level 1, to be perfectly honest. He just can switch between the guns, and then he gets an ability afterwards. As we get the spin to win. It's a bit of a Beyblade up on the top side. A Beyblade battle.
Yeah, one's a helicopter, one's a blender.
Yeah. I guess, what are the Beyblender?
I like Beyblade, but...
Yeah. Beyblade blenders.
Did you ever play it?
I used to
Do
play
you ever grip it and rip it?
Yeah. It was a fun game at the time, but I don't think I've played it in a very, very long time, as we can see now.
Yeah, I was all over Beyblade back in the day, but here...
Have you watched the animation since?
No.
It has not held up. It really has not held up.
I went back and I watched a lot of those old school Saturday morning cartoons, Pokemon, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, don't really hold as great. Well, Yu-Gi-Oh! Holds.
Yu-Gi-Oh! is actually still hilarious.
Yu-Gi-Oh! holds.
There's a fight happening.
There is a fight happening as we do get the red buff being hit up here. Does Aja look for a little bit more? He looks like he wants to maybe go for a leaf strike, but yeah, Sheo getting punished a little bit for the fact that he did go for that cheeky invade, and that's just kind of the power of the Ivern. He's able to put down so much of those passive camp spawns, but he does lose a lot of HP because of it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, still very happy, though, as he has his whole bot side to just grab up here. So some nice pathing out of Sheo. The Ivern Master coming out ahead here off some nice early clears. And while it, looked a little scary there with Aja jumping in, it did cost him his wave to kind of do that a little bit. So Adam gets the shove and some pressure back on the top side and leaves nothing with Junjia to do.
And that's the thing as well. I think with Junjia, it does feel like when you have a moment like this where you do get them to kind of, go for an invade, go for something slightly off, kind of kilter, it does feel like it moves them away from what they would normally do. They go a little bit crazier and they're not quite sure exactly where they need to be at certain times. So Sheo, if he can get around that chaos and kind of force it to be a positive for the side of BDS, that could be huge.
Well, right now, yeah, it's resulting in a split map situation where Wako's feeling scared to walk forward and actually try and grab some of this CS here. Now Lebrov has an angle.
He does get the hook there on top of the Alistar, who will take a fierce chunk of damage. The Ignite is ticking. One more auto, and Crowny gets first blood. Massive move there from BDS all around the pathing.
Nice setup there by Lebrov, landing that hook. I'm not sure if Woody was able to proc his Aftershock there. I didn't see if he got a knock up there or was trying to use his E to get it done, but either way, that results in him getting locked up. Easy free hits for Crowny. Flashes in to finish that one off. Well worth it, though.
Absolutely well worth it, and this is the problem with the side of having an Aphelios. Aphelios needs time to kind of stack up. We can see Adam clearing out most of this wave. He's falling behind a little bit on the CS department, but forcing back Aja to get himself a little bit of a freeze in that top side.
Yeah, as we've seen, Adam is not too perturbed about falling behind individually in CS. He's more than happy to take that if something else is happening on the other side of the map. And that's exactly what happened here. Woody does not Q, might have been on cooldown. Otherwise, you should be popping that right away for the Aftershock to keep you alive after tanking the hook there. It allows them to burn him down, get that kill, and now Sheo and Lebrov making a move onto Aja.
Aja, there's a little bit of a move onto him now. Gets hooked back, will have the flash that he needed. He's getting stunned up, but do they have the damage afterwards? The Ignite goes in, flash over by Adam. He wants this kill, needs it to spin to win. Let's Beyblade! Adam picks up the kill.
Chops right through Aja with the rest of the team showing up there, unlocking themselves and moving around the map. Lebrov making his presence felt with Sheo. The two of them comboing together, and Jinji and Woody just too far behind the play, doing what best they can to hold the wave, but that was after Aja's TP, so it's going to be a long time before he's back up there collecting farm and experience.
Yeah, Adam will gladly tank up this turret just so he knows that he can get this full stacked wave crashed in, and there's the crowd right behind BDS.
Definitely one of the surprise hometown favorites in Korea. You see,
who knew?
You see tons of fan signs for them. The crowd loves Adam's picks. Small but vocal fan base in the Korean community. And here you see it, comboing together. Just 3 people, no way out for him here. Just so much CC. And while he did have full health, so it took a while to burn through him, eventually Adam is able to flash follow and melt him down.
And that comes off of a great rotation from Labrov, and I really want to hit home how impressed I've been with Labrov this entire playing stage. He has had a couple of small games or so where he's not looked incredible, but just in a general sense, it really does feel like he has leveled up fantastically to be a top-tier support for his team. These plays are all coming off of him, and even in the last game on the Alistair, he was the one kind of dividing the rest of PSG to make sure BDS could hit the targets.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see the proactive play out of BDS after the slow game 1 and the shellacking that was game 2. This feels like a completely different series. Game 3, totally back and forth. This is the first early game where BDS really feels pretty heavily in control, where they're all over the map. They're sweeping out tons of wards. There's almost no vision available for PSG. It's just that one pink ward on the south side of mid lane. And it's putting pressure on them. You can see this gold lead up to 1,000 now and some CS advantages slowly coming through. Adam is now crawled back ahead of Aja. Bot lane pretty even, mid lane pretty even.
For PSG, obviously we are fully on the hype chain of BDS for the moment, but for PSG, this is a new look, if you will, that they need to try and figure out, because they haven't got an answer for the Kai'Sa so far, and everything else seems to be falling back into place for BDS. For PSG, I need to see them look for something, because in game 1, they played it slow and steady. They just they won out in terms of mechanics. Game 2, they smashed and didn't really have to answer for anything that BDS threw at them, because there was nothing to answer for. So right now, they're looking at another game where they need to have an answer for what BDS are throwing at them.
Yeah, I think PSG, we were talking about coming in, seemingly have downloaded BDS, having good pinches on the pool, but as soon as Crowny start taking away the Kai'Sa, the drafts have not quite been as impressive. The fact that you first pick the Maokai to take it away to combo with the Jace, fair enough, very strong composition, but it does not pinch Sheo at all. He's very happy to take the Ivern here.
Oh, Hex Flash over the wall, going to be brought in here. There's a pink ward there as well. Aja is getting the CC down, but I mean, it's a Garen. He's got plenty of tenacity, even with the Berserker Greaves. It should just be them forfeiting over this Rift Herald, because the AD carry in mid lane of BDS are not here. This is a 3v5 at best for the side of BDS, but here we go. They're going to try and jump in. They get down the Maokai route, and they will pick up that kill. Aja is ticking down with the Ignite, but will not go down. Now Labrov has a flash available to him. Don't think he's going to need it just yet. Maybe they look to turn and burn on this fight. They still have Adam with a little bit of damage. A flash available. They jump in. They get the root down. He flashed away. The Miasma not down quick enough. Not quite able to get the flash forward. Petrifying gaze onto Junja, and he finally ticks down. Aja and Wako finally coming in. Nuke on the wrong side of this fight. While that was all happening, it was always going to be a 5v4 because Crowny was mid.
Yeah, Crowny had been forced back after eating a lot of shock blasts from Maple, so he was slow showing up in the play, and I think BDS hanging around, not the worst idea. Maybe you can stall it out, but they got a little too aggressive onto Aja. Might have been a 1-for-1 on the tail end of that, but then the fight just continued to progress from there. 2-for-1, I believe it is, at the end of it.
Yes.
We'll take a look here as, again, you can see Aja threatening the flank, doing the right thing, and I kind of like the idea of hopping on top of him with the rest of the team in LeBron, but Sheo is just not on the same page. He's too focused on actually contesting the objective rather than just finding a cleanup kill on the other side of the fight, and that is what allows this chase down sequence to happen. And then it's a bit of a sunk cost fallacy where you could get out from here, but they want to go one more time with Nuke finally showing up, but it's still too many members from the rest of the team there. You can see he had no way out from that point. The flash from Maple onto the Miasma got a little screwed over there. I think he was going for LeBron to potentially set up the rest of a chase down, knowing the team had Nuke there, but unfortunately ended up grounded after the flash.
I will give Sheo a little bit of a pass because he actually had an upgraded smite. So he had actually a couple of hundred more in terms of true damage compared to the Maokai. Junja was on 21 on his stacks. He was on 20, so he was able to get that up for him. But it does feel like it was one of those little small moments where it's like, cool, go for the objective or go for the kill. You're never really going to be able to come out with both. So sadly for BDS, they don't get the objective and they do not get out cleanly from that play, but they are still ahead. They are still kind of stacking themselves up, and with that first dragon picked up, they may look for another fight in a minute.
Yeah, we also have Waka, who was the one who grabbed the Rift Herald at the tail end of that chase down sequence, which is nice, but Aja, that was a little scary.
A little scary. It's still a little scary because Aja might have to flash away here. They're going to kind of collapse around him. He does have a blast cone. Flashback over by Adam, who's got himself an ultimate if he wants to try and use it. A flashback from Aja, just in kind. They're now punching Eye on top of this Jace, and the Daisy just standing in front of him. You shall not hit anybody, and this is BDS trying to turn up the heat.
Yeah, you can feel them just playing their champions better right now. The fact that you had Aja greeting out for the Demolish proc with his E up, but Adam just sticks to him so aggressively, burns that flash.
Might look for something on bot side here. Labrov
TP
pushing him in. Maybe a TP in the alcove. It's exactly that. And they're looking for a little bit more. The double knock-up is good. Wacko has nowhere to go. He has been grounded. Go to your room, mister. You shall not be able to go play your video games anymore. Woody trying to run away. He will have the Maokai ultimate to just about try and get him out. Now a TP coming in. That's going to be Maple on the backside of this one with the hammer smash. A flash forward from Crownie. One more auto attack. And he goes down. Not quite able to get much more out of it, but a 2 for 2 at the end of it all. And this game is starting to devolve into scraps.
Feeling a little bit like Game 3 right now, where everyone's fighting 24/7. They do end up killing Wacko there. I'm not sure if he get a Rift Herald charge off or not. First off, we're going to just take a look at the Maple. Very annoying to play Jace when Daisy is out. It's just always body blocking your skill shots. And one of the things that they'll have to deal with over the course of the game, just so much chase down potential with the slows that she provides by throwing the shield on top of Daisy. There's no way out for Maple there. And yeah, it is on the Rift Herald charge that they go make this play. They grab the 2 plates, able to stop the third one from going down. We'll see if they grab that later, but just so easy with Maple dead. There's no TP to match us in the initial part of the play, but fortunately Junjia was in range to help turn this one around to stop it just being a free chase down onto Woody.
Yeah, it just takes so long to kill off Woody here as well. Junjia comes in, the TP in from Maple as well. We might have to go back to live fairly soon though.
Yeah,
looks like BDS are trying to stack that of very much the objective they've loved to stack the entirety of the year. They will get themselves a second one, and we will have a Chem Rift to set ourselves up in game number 4.
I feel like I've seen so many Ken Rifts. I don't know if I'm tripping or not, but I feel like
it's been a lot, yeah.
I don't like it.
I thought we were going to get Cloud Rifts because we're in Korea.
Yeah.
But no, not
Where's
to
Max
be.
at?
Yeah. I mean, maybe when Atlas and Chronicler jump on, that's when that will actually happen, you know?
Hopefully, because Chemtech, it is fun for the blast cones. I'll give it that.
The environment is awesome. Like the blast cones, the extra healing and stuff like that, it can make a lot of things. But the dragon itself, not so much.
I do like the extra vision that they got there. The pink ward staying hidden in that brush, giving them vision of PSG moving down the river here. Adam knowing that he is alone on the top side to pressure as heavily as he wants to. You can see how this matchup goes.
For it. He's going for it. Bring down the hammer. Adam gets himself a solo kill, and this is the Adam that BDS fans wanted to see.
He's popping off yet again, 2-0-1, and it's just going to get worse from here. Anytime that Ignite ultimate combo is available, he'll be looking for these kills, and it just gives so much room for the rest of BDS to play aggressive. There's no teleport that can follow up. That is the concern with the Ignite, is that on the flip side of the map, you might get TP'd on from behind. Not the case right now, and they're able to safely contest, looking for that red buff.
MasterCard lane economy snapshot. This is probably the first time this series we've seen all for BDS right now. Even if it's only a little bit in the jungle and in the mid lane, it does not matter because they are picking up advantages, and the momentum that comes with that. PSG need to stem the bleeding. They need to calm themselves down and just realize that they're not able to take some of these fights because it is literally just them overextending a little too much.
Yeah, if you look at how PSG's comp wants to play, it wants to be fairly slow and controlled with Maokai saplings, Jace poke, trying to buy space and make the enemy team walk into you. But if you're getting this really scrappy game like we're getting right now, it's very easy for Crownie and Nuke and all their high DPS champions to get on top of you and chase you down.
PSG, they're worried. They're scared right now because they don't really know how they can try to take a fight right now. Like you said, they want to take it slow, controlled, make sure they're getting off the poke from this Aphelios and the Jace when he has got the Calibrum. So this is now just BDS brute forcing in towards that mid lane. They have a TP on Aja, but can he make an impact? That's the real question.
Oh, Garen's already there. I think this is going to be a fake contest by PSG. Just hover around, make Adam commit so that you buy space for Aja.
Keep him honest.
Yeah, keep him honest. Get some turret, back into his pocket. Get some gold. Hopefully you get him up to level 11 to help contest against Adam, because otherwise you're going to have trouble in side lane all game long.
Bruv, it's not worth it.
The hammer
it's
Q.
Not worth it. It's really not worth it. You need to back away. All right, we're going to have a fight. He really wanted that pink ward. Unfortunately for him, he's going to have to probably pay the price for it. Never mind, he's not gone down just yet. And he's got the shielding in from the Ivern as well. The slowdown Junja finally finishes that one off. The Miasma comes in to keep Crownie in a safe position. Junja now running away. We'll have the Blast Cone courtesy of Wacko, but the TP from Aja ends up being a 1-for-1 mid laner for support. Still worth for BDS.
Still relatively worth for BDS. Junji did finish off, or excuse me, Aja did finish off that turret before shoving that wave in, denying some CS to Adam, who had to stick around to make sure that play did not continue to go bad. But this is Adam doing Adam things, man. He doesn't care about lane assignments. What is that?
Dive him.
There's a kill on the top side.
They're gonna dive him. They know that Adam is there. Junja very much aware of it, but he didn't know how blood hungry Adam is. He can smell the the victory. He can smell the reverse sweep, and he wants it.
He's not done yet. Aja extended in the long lane. The Rylai's slow.
Oh, they're looking for it right now. Will get caught out here. Ooh. Adam doesn't want to go for it just yet. Just recognizes he doesn't have exact information on where everyone else was from a PSG, and probably rightfully just backs away.
But the momentum, man, it is completely in BDS's favor after that slaughter of a game 2. To bounce back from that is incredible. And I feel like a lot of this keyed off Adam's Garen, man. He's running around the map, blowing people up. And how many people really play against Garen at the top level know this champion's limits, its thresholds, where it's going to kill you from? You can just feel how difficult it is for PSG here. And LeBron, they're trying to punish him. They have the teleport advantage. They think Adam's making his way back down. So I understand why they go for this play. And initially, it looks like it was good for BDS to get that kill onto Maple early on, but you're worried about this chase down sequence lasting too long. But Adam shows back up. Everyone disengages, except for Adam, who's still hovering around the top side jungle. When's the last time he went bot lane? I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, Adam's just like, well, I thought, he said, someone's like, I thought we disengaged. He's like, no, I decide when we disengage, and gets himself a kill from it. So 2,500 gold lead, similar to when BDS were behind in game number 1. Not inassailable for PSG, but now we're fighting around this dragon pit. They look for it engaged. They look to try and maybe get a big hook. Oh no, Labrov doesn't land onto anybody of interest, but does take a fierce chunk of damage onto his own self.
Takes a bit of damage there, about half health, but still going to be relatively healthy, especially if there's any honey fruit that he can find in the river. A little hungry boy.
Eat your veggies, kids. That's all that is. Get you big and strong. And now, Dragon has been started. This would be sole point for BDS at 18.5 minutes. It could be huge. The Rift Herald has to be dropped into the mid lane because it was about to run out of time. So are PSG. They need to look for a fight. Aja has been spotted on a ward. There is the ultimate from the Maokai, trying to get something in. Smite comes in here for Sheo, so they have secured themselves the Chem Soul. Can they now corral on top of everybody? Maple's dead. The Stride Breaker is massive to try and slow them all down. They're running for their lives. They get the Adam over the wall. He doesn't need a flash anymore because he's got an Ivern on the 1v1 on the bot side. BDS, they're looking for everything. Oh, the hook almost lands onto Woody and Wacko. He's still on Aphelios. You have to be so careful of this now, BDS. They're still looking for a little bit more. They'll get so much gold right now. And everything's just going right. It went from all wrong to all right in the space of 2 games.
Absolutely incredible turnaround by BDS, showing the mental fortitude that they had been criticized slightly for from that spring finals, that reverse sweep at the Hand-to-Man Lions, but it's looking like maybe their turn for it. Still plenty of game left to play before we see that happen here. Just really nice setup. Send Daisy forward to get in the way, buy space. LeBron also in front, getting Sheo that smite nice and easy, getting them their 3rd dragon, I believe that is.
Yep. Soul point.
Soul point. And Nuke was splitting away Aja this whole time to stop any sort of flank from happening, so the rest of the team has a very easy chase down sequence here over and over again. We talk about how sticky this composition is. You got to see it. Here's the flip side of the fight. Just what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, you're just going to get run down, literally, because you've got the Rylai's Crystal Scepter. You're just constantly being pushed away, and Aja went from king of top lane in game number 3 to honestly nothing really happening for him right now.
Not again.
Bring down Divine Judgment. Adam is owning this topside matchup.
Adam is destroying them with gods this series now. The Garen popping off, the win probability nearly 100%.
And the zoom in there on that last little percent, it's like 99.
Yeah. Couple decimals.
I mean, technically BDS could type FF and surrender. That's always a possibility.
As long as the game is running, it is not 100%.
It's not, but they're looking to try and catch out Labrov. PSG know their backs against the walls, and they're getting desperate. Maple can't run away, and now Junja will go down as well. They're chasing them all away. Wacko cleanses a bit too early. They're looking for the big Alistair, turning them into beef burgers. Finally, Aja TP's in with a 3-man counter-strike. Woody just knocks away the 80 carry of BDS to try and save his own one. He's going to be able to get him underneath the tower, though, or it's going to be underneath the blue buff. And we go back into another scrappy fight. Adam is coming. Look at the mini-map. They're just waiting. They're waiting for him to come in. They want him to finish this whole thing off. Woody finally going back in, trying to get the CC down. Crowny gets the dust blade, which means he's invulnerable. Crowny looking for a little bit more. They don't need Adam. Double kill for Crowny. BDS in total control.
They instantly move on to the Baron buff after
destroying PSG. They are heading to a game 5 almost certainly now after winning that fight. Aja just had nothing he could do. He dies, teleports back in just to die again. Adam crushing this game. You can see how desperate they are after getting killed there. They say, all right, let's just burger flip a play on the top side. They're going to go for it. Maple sees LeBron caught out of position, trying to find this chase down sequence, but the rest of the team is in range to blow him up, punish him for it. And for a moment, it looked like potentially Wako might have turned it around onto Crownie a little bit when they got a little bit too far ahead of themselves, especially with the teleport coming in on the right side of the fight from Aja. This counter-strike was incredible. This three-man pull into three-man counter-strike was great. I think the punt away on Crownie maybe wasn't the right call, but then just look at how annoying Daisy is here onto Aja, who doesn't know what to do. He gets rooted, he's getting punched, he's getting slowed, he's getting knocked up. He says, fine, you know what? I'm just going to hit Daisy, but then the shield comes in yet again on top of Daisy to stop this from going down, knocked up again. And this whole time, Crownie had finished off Wako and was now continuing to chase forward, and that timing on that Dustblade proc was gross.
I'm glad that Shea was playing the Dunkmaster Ivern skin, because that Daisy was on man coverage right there. That was just man-to-man coverage at all times. Adam is strong, but, you know, still needs to pay a little bit of respect as he does have the blue buff. Excuse me, blue buff, the Baron buff. Looking to try and get a little bit more pressure, but I mean, 9,000 gold, 3 dragons, 40 seconds till the Chem Dragon Soul. And the funny thing is that normally I'd be like, oh, it's not that great. But then I recognize you have an Ivern, you have a Garen. Like, the Ivern just keeps you healthy. You have so many shields to actually utilize that Baron or that Chem Soul so effectively.
This is actually a very safe composition on the side of BDS, both because you have all the things that the Ivern can provide, but that Cassio's a very surviving champion. So you just have mobility, and so if you get jumped on out of position, sure, you're going to die. But the Everfrost, you have the Rylage, you end up pretty tanky, you have tons of damage, plus all these shields that can come in. Kaisa can move around the map extremely easily. And yeah, I feel like this is a game 5 that we are heading to. You can see on those graphics there.
Adam looking for a little bit of a move here. 1v2.
Why not?
He is not locked in here with you. You are locked in here with him. Adam now 1v3. We'll take it a 1v4. Wako's left to defend the base. Adam will eventually go down, but PSG, you're losing the game.
Wako will have to defend 1v4 while these teleports come in. It will take some time.
They're looking for an
empowered recall.
BDS want to send us to a game 5, and they want it now. 24 minutes on the clock. You've got the Alistar in, and the Alistar's back dead. Sent to the Shadow Realm. Now, can BDS get these turrets down? That's the question. Maple looking for a little bit of a movement. They will get the ultimate down onto Wako, who will get back to the safety of his Nexus. Drop back in, though. Crownie shotgunning BDS to a game 5, but not quite just yet. Aja is back up. They've no TP onto Adam. They're looking for a little bit. Look at all these brushes. Look at all these little pockets of vision. They don't exactly know where everybody is, and there's no minions.
No minions quite yet. They have cleared all the waves out of PSG, though, and it looks like finally they're going to back off here as multiple members start respawning. Low on resources. Undoubtedly have tons of gold to spend here, so BDS, I appreciate the aggressiveness trying to get out of this game and onto game 5 already. Crownie calling his shot there onto Wako once that Nautilus ultimate landed. That's one of those synergies for why you love locking in this combination. And it was one of the things that they were getting criticized for. Why aren't they playing Kaisa? Why aren't they playing Kaisa? Finally they played it. Who wins in a row most likely here? You just see, don't go after Adam.
Yeah, I mean, it took 4 members of PSG, and poor Wako was just sitting in his base going, guys, I need help. Like, I can't do
I
this.
know it's a little tilting to play against Garen, but surely he's not worth an inhibitor in all our Nexus turrets.
Well, sadly, that's the trade PSG took. I mean, for BDS, what a turnaround within this series. Like, just incredible to see them now on the precipice of sending it to game 5. And this is the funny thing. They're playing so well. They're doing everything they need to do. But this isn't even the job done. This isn't the qualification match for them just yet. They need to do this and then one more time before they can really take a sigh of relief and then start prepping for Swiss.
Yeah, pretty quick turnaround for this team. And you can see, I mean, I can't even find a pixel on that one this time.
No, I think, I'd love if there was a
99.9999999. Yeah.
Just absolutely almost impossible, you would imagine, from the AWS win probability powered by AWS, excuse me. But now pushing in, Labrov maybe looking for a hook. They're going to try and jump onto the Alistar, who hasn't popped the Unbreakable Will just yet, but they have gotten out
Nature's Grasp. The Daisy just being so good at keeping everyone away from the carries. Jump onto Junja, and this could be it. Petrifying Gaze just slows people down. They get the knock-up. Crowny goes golden. They need to kill off the carry of BDS, but he's just been punted away. It's all chaos right now. Sheo moving in. Crowny stays alive, and so do BDS. We are going to Game 5. We are going to Silver Scrapes.
The reverse sweep is still alive for BDS. What looked like a meme. Can PSG possibly do to recover this series from here?
I mean, just the momentum alone is going to be hard enough. You can see there the coach kind of racket his brain, kind of head in his hands a little bit, just be kind of going, right, how do we change this? What do we do? The Maokai first pick didn't work out. The Kaisa was a massive pick now for Crowny. This isn't a toss-up of one power pick. There's several in this game. And the Jax kind of going into this is no longer going to work because the Garen's a perfect answer.
Yeah, but last time he played it into the Renekton, I believe it was after seeing it here, thinking you could just play it blind into Adam without banning the Garen was very, very
presumptuous,
to say the least. Yeah, we've seen it enough times now. Please do not do that anymore, teams, if you want to have any chance of beating BDS.
Well, we got Silver Scrapes.
We got it.
We're not going to wait any longer. Headed to break. Play the music. In, flash over by Adam. He wants this kill, needs it to spin to win. Let's Beyblade! And they're looking for a little bit more. The double knock-up is good. Wacko has nowhere to go. He has been grounded. Go to your room.
Pressure as heavily as he wants to. You can see how this matchup
going
goes.
For it. He's going for it. Bring down the hammer.
They have TP on the... I mean, he's dead. Can you press the Baron?
Yeah, shift and start. Shift and start.
Shift and we do it.
We are so back. Game 5 just minutes away, and the shirt does not lie. At least we are getting a full 5 games here, GB.
It smells like sweat and victory, baby, Raz. I can't wait to see you in this. One more, just one more, and we're there.
The fact that you pulled it out when they haven't won a game yet was insane.
It was on a tank of copium, but it has become a tank of realism right now.
Look, we got the blood, sweat, and tears. Both of our two teams are absolutely fighting for it. The sole remaining representative from the PCS in Talon, and then also Europe's play-ins hope. The disappointments have come so many times. BDS looked to be that, and now they have fought back to a 5th game here.
It's wild. I mean, one fact is that no team in LEC history has gone a reverse sweep in Worlds. That's insane to me. And we're going to see BDS, which, just thinking about where this series started, there's a lot of people that are waking up in the world that are able to catch this series right from the bump, right? It started with not BDS basically falling. It was just
we had
PSG
2 kills at 25
them.
minutes.
Yes, it was a snooze to begin with, and it was just BDS getting smashed by PSG, and it's all turned around.
What a turnaround, especially with Shio and his early game. GB, I want you to walk us through exactly how he took over.
I think a lot of people's going to look at the team fight and think to themselves like, oh, Adam obviously showed up, but I also just think the early game was absolutely perfect for them. In this replay right here, you can see Archer has a stacked wave, which means that it will slow push into Adam. That can be a bit bad because there is a Maokai on the top side, so Adam needs to make sure he does not die. Once again, luckily, it's a slow push. While that is happening, Shio is utilizing the fact that he's been counter-jungling pretty much this entire game. And it is a PSG bot lane that's sleeping here. They should know Shio's down here. They spotted him in early on a Raptor ward. Now, what Shio needs to do ASAP is go top and cover, make sure that Adam can keep this freeze alive, because what he's going to do now, he's going to take a trade with Archie. Adam obviously never runs teleport on the Garen, which means that in laning phase, wave management can be kind of difficult. But with having this freeze straight outside his turret, Archie is forced to TP. What happens? Labrov, Shio, they're already here. They got a kill on the bot side, immediately reset up towards the top side. Archie doesn't have any teleport whatsoever. Adam haven't been back yet, but by flashing over the wall and securing the first kill for himself, he can now move over to his wave, crash it, start a slow push against him again while he's resetting. Once again, he has no teleport. But Archie just missed an entire wave. Adam gets to come back, have the ignite ready when he hits level 6 as well, and the entirety of top lane is just over when that happens right there. And it came off the backbone of Shio and Labrov with great map movement.
I love the move from Labrov because his job down bot lane was fine, and it was just in case, and I love the fact that we're already getting the crowds in this, just in case if Maokai is there or if anyone that was answering the Jax's calls because he recognized he wasn't going to get the wave in, then they can take the fight. So they were ready just in case for insurance.
I love it. The map movement, absolutely on point. I also think that BDS stepped into their own in terms of the draft, right?
Yes.
They get the Kai'Sa again in the bot side, while PSG continue to ban away all of these AD carries on the bot side.
Listen, I'm a big fan of the PSG coaching staff strategy of banning these bad AD carries that Crowny might have played, really forcing him onto Kai'Sa instead. Remarkable for me, really. And I love the fact that we're not now just seeing the Kai'Sa come through. It's a laning phase where it matters. We can get kills. There's a mid game and a late game where it becomes scary. I love having Crowny on this Kai'Sa, and it does make me wonder, why did it have for us to get pushed this far into one game where we're almost getting knocked out till we finally start busting out these champions?
At least we're here now.
I mean, we are, but you know, it's a process.
And it made it entertaining. I'll take it, right?
Absolutely.
And I mean, to another point, thank you to the PSG coaching staff to pick Jax in this situation. When you know you're going against Adam, you should know his champion pool.
Oh, I thought you were rooting for them. Now you're us with BDS?
Okay, I started with BDS, and then I saw the first 2 games, okay?
That's crazy,
I saw the first 2 games.
Okay, let's talk about the top lane then, because this match has been so important. I think we saw Aju with multiple fantastic performances in Game 1, Game 2, even in this game, had a great team fight, but it's really been going BDS's way so far when Adam gets on these counters.
I think it comes into the fact when it's the mid game and they actually up the tempo. This is something that we saw BDS struggled with, but here you have every tool that you need. You have an early game lead, you can fully send it. Hell, I found multiple times in this game where I thought Labrov was absolutely sprinting it and about to throw away the lead until they just turn it into a fight where they start up winning it.
Yeah, and I think for me, the biggest boost throughout the series is that they're just holding counter pick for top lane. And that the Ivern pick was a great one this game. The Maokai pick prior was also a great one. Maokai and Alistar. So they're waiting and holding picks because they know they have a wealth of options.
Look at the Dusk Blade.
It's nice. That was sick. And that was that one option that PSG had to take back the game. But The Ivern Daisy was just wailing and slowing Jax down, unable to take a fight. So the Jax pick was the most puzzling. Because if you want to play against this team fight comp, it's like, okay, let's play side lanes. But I already mentioned they should know, they should be aware Garen is going to be able to beat him on side lane. So you can't pick him on side lane. You can't take him on team fights. It was just a checkmate in draft. And of course, the point that you had mentioned in the early laning phase made it so BDS can take this one straight from the get-go.
The top lane matchup is going to be so critical in this final match.
Yeah.
And I have huge news that PSG have selected blue side, which continues to give top lane counter pick options over to Adam. I think they picked blue in game 4, so that is in line with their prep, but that is shocking with the absolute devastation he did in the top. I mean, Aji's looking like Johnny Silverhand, the way Adam's Smasher is beating him into the pavement.
I mean, absolutely. And, you know, I really think there is a viable option where PSG takes a page out of the Mad Lions notebook, which was literally ban all of Adam's champions. If that does happen, though, that frees Nuke up a lot. That means you can go on an Asir. That means you can go on an Orianna instead. I am curious to see, though, what is going to happen with that Kai'Sa. Will it be moved into a first pick priority?
It might.
Or what's going to happen with it?
It definitely might. You know, a few games back, the Caitlyn pick was just not really great for how we got to see Wako play. Wako was a star in one of the games and he wasn't able to play it out. The Caitlyn pick wasn't showing any benefit in team fights. Taking a look at a top lane matchups, yes, Aja, who has been the second best top laner so far in play-ins, has been getting smashed because of the matchups.
I mean,
we need to see a change up.
You still look at the damage per minute, though. He's getting less resources from his team, but still doing a lot with it, too.
Yeah.
So I think the difference that came from BDS here is that they decided to say, Adam's a win condition, we're going to play around him more.
So PSG Talent, they have to deal with that, right? Are we leaving open ADs so that we can trade the Xayah Kai'Sa so we can get Prio on top lane? Do we try to return to like the Kennen blind pick so Cyan comes in as a response? What do they do here?
I don't know. I'm too high on Copium. I don't know what's happening. I just want to see the game start again.
Ride it all the way. It is time for the final battle here in the World's 2023 play-in stage. Team BDS versus PSG Talent, Game 5. Let's get to it.
All of the day has led to this. Everything else doesn't matter. All analysis out the window. Goldberg and Raz, you're out of jobs. It's about Game 5. And I think the EU fans are very excited and are very invested. We did have a moment where Medic feeling very, very intent on this particular matchup.
I imagine this is the vast majority of the fans watching right now from EU. The LEC fans on the edge of their seats, quite literally, hoping that they can pull off this reverse sweep here. So much on the line for PSG. If they lose this, it would mean no PCS teams in the main stage at Swiss. And on the flip side, for the LEC, it'll be the first time that all 4 of their seeds have made it through. And seeing them all play in the main stage would be absolutely amazing.
Have to wait and see. We'll no longer hypothesize. No more theories about the way they want to go. PSG sticking to the first 2 bans as always. Back on the blue side. And again, we're seeing those AP top laners taken away by BDS. So what do you want to see change? We obviously talked to the analyst desk. They wanted to see maybe ADs left open. But I mean, I think like the Kai'Sa is just the key pick.
Yeah, I would love to see first pick Kai'Sa if we're going to have no other pinches really going on. I think it's been a big turnaround. Wako's Aphelios is fine, but it's not going to be able to dive in and assassinate people. And to be fair, at the same time, PSG did not just lose because Aphelios or excuse me, anything like that. It was a whole team improvement out of BDS. They're playing way better, way more confident, and you're not going to win just because you first pick it.
Okay, so BDS recognize the PSG. We're almost certainly going to first pick the Kai'Sa, and they say, cool, take the Maokai. We're cool with that. We still have the Sejuani, we still have the Ivern, and now no one gets to have the Kai'Sa in game number 5.
Love this read out of BDS saying, yep, it's a bit problematic. We're going to just ice it here. No one gets to play with this, and it forces everyone down their priority list. I do like the potential adaptation here, saying, you know, we can't really stop Sheo from playing any of these tanky junglers, so we're just going to opt into our strengths instead. Rel, actually, the takeaway this time around. Woody had one good game on it, one sketchy one. We'll see how he's feeling today.
We will wait to see where Adam takes these particular picks. Remember, if he picks...
He's not spelling it right.
I was going to say, he's actually not spelling it at all.
G-S-O.
No, it was D-G-S-O. Gadizzo. But, of course, we'll wait to see what he wants to go for. He's on red side. I would be so unbelievably upset if they do not give red side counter to Adam in that top side. But you can see Crowny
just trying to really emote how much this means to these guys. They need to get this draft right.
Yeah, you talk about the stakes for this team. Adam, the only one who has played on the main stage of Worlds before. And to be fair, during that time period, there was a lot of stuff going on with that Fnatic team that they were not able to put their best foot forward in. It was hardly the showing that I think anyone wanted then. And so this time around, to make it back with this squad kind of leading as the face of the organization right now would do a lot for them.
And that's it as well. That's that not only are you looking for the face of this organization, but LEC, you want to break that 4th seed curse, but also as well as that, like even for LCS and to a smaller extent, like you kind of, it feels slightly better to get the team that goes to play-ins, the one that smashed you. Come on, a little bit.
I'm a misery loves company kind of guy, you know, like BDS.
If you're not getting in, we're not
neither. Yeah, no, definitely not. But they're making it difficult. BDS has been putting in the work these last few games, making it difficult for themselves as well, losing early on, having to go through the losers bracket, and now having to pull off a reverse sweep.
Well, PSG, they are putting in high priority onto this Gnar now. Aja had a fantastic game number 3. He just, as we said in that last one, kind of lost himself. Didn't really know where to go, didn't know really where he had to kind of put it. So putting a little bit of priority on his champion pool to make sure that it does not get banned away. And now BDS, you've got an opportunity. Do you want to just take the top laner here? Do you want to try and maybe get your AD carry? There's a couple of questions that you need to answer. He's going to go Crowny onto the Zeri. He went from 12-5 earlier today to 12-6 with the loss, but still a champion he can have some serious impact on.
Yeah, definitely the case. It's a very different series in terms of momentum. It's a different series in terms of the draft. The fact that you had Wako's Kai'Sa banned this time, so you're not playing the Zeri into the Kai'Sa, you're playing into Aphelios. Range advantage and probably some laning strengths going to the Rel and Aphelios early on here. And Aja's Gnar was incredible for 60-70% of that game before the wheels kind of came off, and hopefully he can get back onto that kind of performance here. For the flip side, yet again, it is the solo lanes saved for Nuke and Adam.
And that's the big thing I'm actually curious about as well, because we've actually seen the Nico change in priority in this draft alone. It was a first-round rotation ban, now moved obviously to the second one, but PSG didn't pick it up until obviously now, which they can't do anyway. So these little things, we're seeing a lot of emphasis being put in here, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see BDS maybe pick up a Jace. It's not really Nuke's champion style, but it's definitely something he has played this year.
I wonder what they're going to do if they ban the Cassio and the Jace is left up then, because that's what they're probably going to do. Yep, Cassio comes through here, and now the question is, do you take the Jace away or not, pair it with the Maokai? It's not really the composition that we tend to see, but it does play, I think, somewhat to their strengths in terms of more kite-back focus and picking the moment to go in. If they want to go for that denial, they can. If they leave it up, it will be relatively physical damage heavy, and instead, just going to slam Darius into the Gnar.
There it is. Gods. Garen, Olaf, Darius, Sion. But we still get gods for Adam. He has played every single one so far in this series. And knowing he's going to Gnar, I actually really love this matchup. You have such incredibly high kill pressure because, yes, the Gnar is exceptionally powerful, but in mini, if he gets caught, he is so vulnerable to getting burst out.
Yeah, it's one of those champions where if you are able to land a hook back, you also go Ghost Flash, I assume, here, so you can try and chase the Gnar down a little bit better. And if you can ever get on top of him, like you said, you get to blow him up. The Jarvan, no surprise, seeing that locked into combo with the, what do these called? The Narvan?
The Narvan combination.
It's been a minute, but there it is. It's back, and they bring another wall this time around. The Talia has been very hit or miss from the mid lane this tournament so far, I would say, honestly. There's not been the most impressive Talia games, and there's going to be a lot of pressure on Maple to actually get it to the top side of the map, try and punish the Darius.
Okay, so Nuke saying, look, I can burst this out. I can get the pressure. Double 80 carry now on the side of BDS. They will melt towers if they're left alone for too long. However, I mean, jumping in onto this PSG side is going to be hazardous at the best of times.
Well, I think you're not jumping in almost ever, honestly, if you're Nuke outside of individual lane phases or 1v1s. For the most part, though, you are playing two beef balls in front of you, kite back, double marksman composition. Again, depending on how PSG itemizes, they will not be the tankiest of members, and so you can potentially stuff any difficult engage with Maokai and Alistar and then melt whoever was the one who went flying in there. And meanwhile, Adam's doing Adam things on the backside of the fight, or maybe not even there, potentially, depending on what he's up to. So once again, one of these comps that I love out of BDS, a splash of creativity with some pretty solid fundamentals. And for PSG, it feels like another early game focused game plan here if they're going to win this one.
The hometown heroes of BDS, but PSG Talon, they have a couple of faithfuls there in the crowd of Law Park in Seoul, Korea. It comes down to this one last game. This is your final draft. You live it or you lump it, because right now Nothing else matters. Both these teams have left everything under the rift. Now it comes down to this. One Nexus explodes, one team goes to Swiss.
One spot available, the last team to promote into the main stage of Worlds and to keep their dreams alive for at least another week or so. And for these two regions a lot on the line, like you already said, for the first time, if the 4C can make it in after what has been a bit of a curse for them, and for the PCS to get any representative in, as BDS has already taken out the number 2 seed in CFO and now coming for the number 1 seed if they can pull this off. We got a BDS fighting chant in there?
We do, man. I was there, like LPL swung back into me. It was like the gyos and everything.
Yeah,
it was
I'm like,
awesome.
whoa, they're rallying, man. They
give them a bit
fans.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's see how it works. PSG versus BDS, 2-2 on the day. One team each getting a stomp, I think it's fair to say. Game 2 for PSG, Game 4 for BDS. Two semi-close games in 1 and 3. Now
so if it's going reverse,
yeah,
right. So Game 3 is the midpoint, right? That's the really crazy one.
That's the crazy.
One game stepped away from that was one team smashing the other, which means Game 1 from the flip side would be a very, very slow and boring BDS win. I don't want that. I'm fine with the BDS win part.
The
for what it's
math
worth.
checks out, and that's why I'm mad.
The BDS win part, totally fine with.
Yeah.
If we get 2 kills through 20 minutes again, I'm a sad boy.
Yeah, I mean, you've got scaling. I definitely think when you have a Jarvan on the team of PSG, you are looking to be a lot more aggressive, and especially as well on the other side of this, the Adam Darius is something that I'll expect to be a little bit more proactive in the first few minutes of the game.
And this time around, no tricky business out of BDS. We talk about their level 1s quite a bit, or Sheo doing some stuff on his first clear. Looking like a pretty standard bot to top clear for both, or excuse me, top to bot clear for both these junglers, trying to end up around their 80 carries. You can see, like we said, early on, the green gun advantage, giving them some strength in this lane, trying to delay taking these creeps as long as they can, so it doesn't push and give Crownie some easier CS. Nice brush control as well from Woody.
Yeah, I was just going to say, this area finding it so difficult to just walk forward there, just because Woody and Waka are controlling this so well. Level 2 will be hit now in just a second or 2. And that's going to basically mean that this entire wave is going to be going underneath the tower pretty frequently for the side of BDS. They're going to have to try and figure out how they're going to be able to stem the bleeding already in the early stages of this game, but
we'll have to see how crazy PSG wants to get. You can always have one of these slow-built waves. If Maple can get unlocked, roam down there for a 4-man level 3 dive, who knows? Probably not going to be the case, though.
Level 2, can't both away, but Labrov already burning through quite a few of its pots, so he needs to be a bit careful with how aggressive he wants to be going into this one here. And this is the thing as well, is that you don't want to lose too much of this underneath the turret, especially when you're against Wacko, who's already picked up that Cole, so he's stacking that one up very nicely, very early.
Good call, Hardy. Understanding, I'm going to control this lane. I'm here to farm up and get to my items quickly. Already half a turret plate gone off that push, and Sheo actually skipping the camps.
He's just going to jump in on top of that one there. They're trying to use a minion delivery system as Woody should be able to remount. Sheo actually went in onto a minion to move away from that because they just didn't feel confident with the Jarvan coming in on the backside.
Interesting re-engage by Woody there. Jarvan was further away than you would have thought, but with that control, actually, the fact that Sheo skipped camp means that Jinjia finished his red buff and appears healthy enough now to contest this with the shove that they already have. Sheo's going to have a hard time controlling this, but fortunately, Nuke has the push on the mid wave.
Oh, they're looking for Woody. Puts him in behind the wall, though. And they have to get the flash out. You can see Junja getting himself away from this one here. Sheo, though, with the Gravitum available for Wacko, gets 2 down. The Ignite goes in. Has no real mana left. His auto attacks are good, and Crownie knows if he gets any CC on top of him, he was dead, so he has to flash back over the wall.
Maple with a more defensive path, being that he needed to cover the escape instead of charging into the river, stops that chase down sequence there. A little bit slower to collapse on that play. If he was able to help cut them off as they ran to that blue buff pit, could have gone a lot worse for BDS. Still a gold advantage because Crownie had to sack some minions to start going aggressive there. And overall for PSG, a decent start to the game despite feeling like maybe a kill or 2 left on the table.
Well, that's all happening. The top laners trying to figure out whether or not they can go aggressive. The wave in a pretty terrible state there for Aja. These hemorrhage stacks are starting to build up quite quickly, and this is the power of the Darius. 1 or 2 small movements, and all of a sudden he's looking fantastic, but now he's walking straight in on top of the Jarvan. Pops the Ghost, does not get away from the first CC, but does get away from the second. Now looking for a little bit of a trade back. 1v2. Adam looking to be his namesake for the moment. Ghost still popping down. He's doing very well. Flash forward into the apprehend. Does not get the bounce back for Aja. He moves away from the Jarvan. I think that was key.
I think you can feel the nerves on both these teams here. Aja missing his Q and then his W in that sequence is absolutely a kill onto Adam if they land it. And then afterwards, not quite sure where they want to go from BDS. Aja's hop out does mean at the end of this, it's a summoner advantage. He did not have to burn anything in that sequence. And so while it should have been a kill yet again, instead it's just small advantages in the early game for PSG.
Nerves, the pressure, if you will.
Your whole year on the line.
Your literal entire season rests on this one game of 5v5. It is sometimes a little too much to bear.
Sometimes we all go through promotion matches and you feel the stress of needing to win that 5th game. Imagine that if your whole career in life was built on that. A little bit, just try and put it in perspective.
It's so difficult to know. And again, it comes down to how these teams are able to deal with that pressure. If you can get that play to work on either side, you get an advantage. You start putting even more pressure onto your opponent. Versus now, where it does feel like, again, no one's coming out with an advantage, but it's very, very shaky for now.
Yeah, I think you expect from the draft for PSG to be winning the early game, and so these gold leads are largely what you would think would happen. I think the biggest thing is the fact that none of these kills have really accelerated any of the lanes beyond what you would expect. And so PSG going to start this Dragon out, playing off their bot lane Prio, and Talia now at 6, though with no mana, will probably teleport back into lane, have the ability to join in on any fights that happen around the map.
Sheo's going to walk over and check if this is being done. Doesn't have a smite, by the way. Used it on the Gromp, so maybe they want to go for a little bit of engage. A TP comes in back from both mid laners. Maple and Nuke now moving back down towards this dragon. It's the first dragon of the game, and we know how much BDS love their dragons. There is the Weaver's Wall coming straight out. They're going to try and jump in, but a knockback from onto Woody means that he goes down, but it's a first blood. Dragon stolen by BDS as we got the resets coming in maybe for Nuke, as Wacko has to flash away straight away as he realizes he can't take this fight. Neither can Junja as he looks to try and trade it back, but Nuke gets himself a double, and BDS trade 2 for 1, and they get the dragon.
Huge contest out of BDS there on the dragon. A little bit of face check by Crowny.
Yeah, he's going to be able to dash himself over. Good cleanse. Definitely would have preferred not to use it, but small little window there for PSG. They almost capitalized.
Yeah, but that is such a bad consolation prize there after Sheo again on top of the smites was getting taken advantage of by Junjia. A little bit in game 1 and game 2, but after that has been dominant with these, never really losing any critical objectives. And then the fight afterwards, I mean, Nuke in a great position on the Tristana here. Able to just hit closest target and make sure to knock Woody back so he does not ever get stunned up. That explosive shot also landed a ton of damage onto Wacko as he finished off Woody there. And now it's just an easy chase down the rest of the way for the team.
It just feels like after the Weaver's Wall, the Maple Talia was not really in a position to put out damage, wasn't throwing out rocks at a rate to kind of settle herself and get that damage out. So it really just was an unfavorable position here for PSG. They do, however, get themselves back in towards that mid lane to try and put pressure here onto Nuke, who did pick up a plate or so for himself. But I mean, we could see another fight now as the Rift Herald has already spawned, and they know this is happening on the side of BDS.
Looks like Crowny is skirting down onto the bot lane there, riding the wall as far as he can go, and giving this one away. Not in a position to contest this after the slightly slower reset. Death timer, sometimes a quicker path back onto the map than a recall after that dragon fight. So PSG do use their top pressure a little bit with the Nara as well to grab that one.
See what PSG can do with it, because this is the thing I always say about Rift Heralds. It's not that you get it, it's how you use it afterwards, especially an early one, because it can lead to a huge advantage in one of these lanes. And right now, Sheo, with level 6, would be very, very good at deterring any kind of dive here onto Adam, who does not have his flash just yet. Does have Ghost. Maybe Sheo and Adam might want to go for something a little crazy, but Aja just backs away.
I think they're just waiting to cover this wave collection by Adam. Good decision, given that the Rift Herald just went down. I think PSG were also thinking the same thing. If anything is looking suspect here, maybe we can make the play, but that's not the case. And like you said, it's about how you use the Rift Herald. I feel like this series, we've seen a lot of Rift Heralds not get optimal value, kind of dropped as they time out, or they charge a turret that there's no one else there to help push afterwards. And so it has been a very scrappy series, honestly, outside that first game where there's been a lot of fighting, and it's sometimes hard to find the correct usage of this. So it'd be nice, I assume, if you want to get this either onto Wacko to accelerate your primary carry, or onto Aja to get the side lane going in your favor.
And for the moment, Junja is down in the bot lane. Just
bot side of the map, I should say, as he waits to try and just maybe find the Cataclysm target. Very hard to lock down things like a Tristana, Zeri. They can just dash their ways out with the mobility they have in their kit, so they're not really in any kind of danger for the moment, but PSG look like they want to try and maybe put down the bit of pressure here in mid lane. I do like this as well, especially with the first Herald. If you know you're not going to get a full tower, at least get that mid lane tower low so you can actually try and take it on the second Herald.
Yeah, especially with Italia, it's always nice to break out your global if you can make it happen. And definitely the case, actually, when you talk about the champions that Jinjia is going to be jumping on top of. Most of them are pretty unperturbed by it. Of course, if you are jumping onto Darius, you know, he can't get out, but then you're trapped in a pit with Darius. I'm not sure that's where you want to be using your J4 ult.
Yeah, not ideal target selection, but Maple maybe just going to throw a walk over the wall. That's going to stop Lavrov from getting a reset in. So, 11 minutes are just shy of it. 500 gold lead for BDS. They are going to be able to set up for this dragon in a minute's time. It is a dragon, means, or it's an Infernal Dragon, which means we are not going to have an Infernal Soul or a Mountain Soul, so not going to be the highest of priorities, I imagine. Unless it's Tex.
I'm smelling another Chemtech.
Smelling a Chemtech?
Yeah, it smells bad. It smells smoggy.
Not clear cloud air, no?
No. From Los Angeles, man.
Yeah,
I'm used to that
you
smell.
You came to Dublin and you were just like, what is this? Fresh air? Get out of here.
Grass? Disgusting.
Yeah.
Where's my concrete jungle?
Yeah, where's the 20, 30 buildings that block out the sun? But coming back into it. I mean, we'll see what they want to go for right now, because it does look like for the moment PSG are on a bit of a reset. They can look to try and just clear out a lot of this vision. With the amount of ultimates they have, they would have a fair amount of, full dive to go on to someone like Tristana and Azeri if they can catch them out.
Yeah, I feel like PSG is slightly under the gun to make plays, which means, unfortunately, that for viewership and the aggressive gameplay perspective, I think BDS is happy with this Maokai and double marksman to set up around objectives, poke them down, try and just burn through them. And if PSG are going to contest, you can really make a decision if you actually want to fight for it or not. You are absolutely happy, I think, to just kind of keep scaling until you get more major items onto your marksman, because right now there is no mythics completed across the board yet.
Well, there's that Rift Herald. Shelly going into that mid lane to, like we said, just kind of put pressure down. We'll get 2 plates. That will go straight over to Junja, so not the worst thing in the world. The Jarvan, I have seen Jarvan's one-shot AD carries with their full combination, so definitely something that can be done, and Dragon gets started. There is a TP here for Aja, but there's none available for Adam. You have to remember that. Labrov hasn't popped his ultimate just yet. There it goes. So now he's not going to have that available to him. It looks like BDS are going to have to be on full retreat. PSG did enough to pressure them away from this objective.
Yeah, Maple's chunk there is enough to buy them this Infernal Dragon. Shao's sticking around. He's feeling himself with these smites.
Yeah, he's feeling it, but I don't know if he wants to. You do not have your support, and they will back that one away. So Adam will pick up a plate in the top side and the back side of it. So, Dragon apiece, 20k each. It's looking pretty close that we're going to be getting to some big 5v5s in about 5 or 6 minutes time.
Yeah, I think so. It totally makes sense for them to back off there, wait for their first major item completions, especially after Labrov is chunked out. For PSG, you're happy to have gotten that objective down, but of course you're looking more for kills at this point. And even that Rift Herald mid, it's nice to chunk out that mid turret, but realistically against a Tristana, how many times will you have shove from the Talia to actually walk up there and auto that turret? I much would have preferred if they could get that onto a more important carry from the perspective of team fighting or split pushing later on in the game here. So for BDS, yeah, it charged it down to 3 plates, but as long as Nuke is playing well, that thing will be relatively safe, and that's all they're going to get.
So I will say I was right. It's Cloud Soul. Dublin fresh air.
Ooh.
That's where we are. No chem smog of LA, you know.
They heard the complaint about being in Korea, playing at Lowell Park, and not getting enough Cloud Dragons, so they supported you.
Absolutely. I appreciate that from the script writers. That's very nice of them to do for me. But, I mean, we'll have to wait to see again, because PSG, they're taking this one slowly, but they're not coming out, you're not coming out on the worst end of these trades. It does feel like the fact that they were able to get that coal stacked up so quickly, that Wacko has been able to have a little bit more freedom to build up to a first item, maybe even a second one, obviously very soon. But this is where the game starts to devolve into less about the laning phase and more about getting around these objectives.
Yes, how are you going to set up for them? Are you going to get chunked out before they go on? Will you find flanks in order to access the enemy backline? Like we were saying, for the side of BDS, mostly front to back, except for Adam, who might be flanking and might not be there with his no teleport summoner. And with the Maokai saplings, you can often try and find Aja and Junjia, who are trying to do that Narvin combo, stun your carries up against the wall, Hopefully a flick follows by Maple, and Wako is kind of that insurance policy to melt through the pretty beefy team comp of BDS.
And we saw there how even it was between the carries for the MasterCard lane economy snapshot. It really felt like that's exactly how the game has felt, honestly. It's just, you know, kind of slightly topside favored for BDS, slightly bot side favored for PSG, and then in the middle, everyone's just kind of dotted around with a couple of hundred here or there. Now, Rift Herald number 2 has been started. You have a Stormrazor finished up here for Crownie. He's back out onto the map. 6,000 HP already taken down on top of this one, and Adam and Nuke are finally arriving.
Yep, gonna look like our first pure 5v5. Maple in the wing.
No 5v5 for you. Talia says no fighting. We will get ourselves back into the laning phase. Because the funny thing is, 15.5 minutes gone. No tower's gone down yet.
No, and they're all relatively healthy. There's, I think, that most half down on the mid lane of BDS. Adam has gotten some chip down on top side. Everyone's gotten a little bit of chip, but not too much damage done to them. I saw Talia in the flank. I was hoping for a wall in.
Once that Ghost Plague, he'll get the Stride Breaker, gets a little bit of damage out, trying to get those stacks up, brings down the ult, and Adam was done with passiveness in this laning phase.
He heard you talking about there just going back to laning, and that was not what he wanted to do. Finds the angle right as Aja's Mega Gnar wears out, and you know the Mini Gnar in tired form will never be able to get away from you. Ghosted up with the slow and hook back. Nice kill there by Adam, and exerting his presence on the game yet again. He came in as the most talked about player of BDS for his hyper carry, or not hyper carry, but his very aggressive carry play style.
Oh, Sheo just turned and burned onto that one. He was like, all right, we can take this fight. There's the Cataclysm. The knockback is good for Junja. So I actually think he was in a bad situation there. As you can see, PSG realizing they were just going to lose a tower for free because they had no one to rotate.
Yeah, I think PSG getting a little antsy there. Jumping in, no real follow-up available. Maple was not quite in range for anything. Also going for the crown, interestingly enough. A little surprised to see that, given that there's not any significant burst damage that is going to come from the enemy team and can get knocked off quite easily from saplings if you're not careful.
That's what I was going to say. Like, surely the saplings, or even a Zeri laser, a Stride Breaker, like there's so many little things, or even an Alistair knock-up, you know, can just knock it away. So we'll see how valuable or not it is later on into the game. But for the moment, PSG just waiting to see how they go for it. And this is Adam just being the Darius, being the god of the god king of Noxus.
Yeah, coming through the mid river, excuse me, there, finding that. I was stunned at how good that
I was going to say, the animation
just
so beautiful. Have you never seen this?
No, I don't pay attention to
They
this.
both turn into wolves, Garen and Darius in the God's King skins.
Hoggers.
Yeah.
What? It is.
I've never met someone who speaks in Twitch chat IRL.
Really?
It's just because I'm Irish. Why would we speak in Twitch chat? We could just, yeah. It's just strange for me, that's all. Anyway, we can come back in. We can see that with the priority on bot side, BDS would not only get themselves the bot turret, but they'll also get themselves a second dragon. Doesn't mean though that surely will knock over this turret in the mid lane. So PSG finally back on the front foot in terms of the objective trades and looking to try and make sure they're not just losing out around the map.
No, dead even in gold. Red team, Adam finished off his second turret, will put them back slightly ahead. Also grabbing the second dragon for BDS.
Adam's still
there.
going. Oh, no, he's not.
Oh, teleport coming in from, looks like the Gnar, so at the very least getting that one out. Ooh, collapse all the way committed here. Maple not wanting to go,
I was going to say, though, they're not trying to get on top of Adam because they have to deal with the rest of BDS who are there to protect their top laner. No one goes down just yet, but I can see the pressure, the presence that both these teams want to have is starting to lead to a couple of mistakes.
Yeah, definitely the case, and I gotta say, this is one of those Talia games where you're not seeing the impact out of this champion quite yet. Maple has not been able to get to a side lane to try and attack anyone. He's used the wall strategically well sometimes to secure a free Rift Herald and these sorts of things, which they were able to use mid, but that's usually not quite enough. You need to find ways to bisect fights or create odd number of fights, and not quite happening yet, because if it's straight front to back damage, you gotta think that Nuke will have him beat. Right now, Kraken Slayer completed, working on, looks like the quick blades.
And avoid quick blades out means you don't actually at all have to build any attack speed, really, because you just keep spamming Q. You'll get it back as soon as it's down, so do I want to go for right now? And again, it's not as if we haven't had action so far this game. We really have, but it's just been so low scoring in terms of those kills because people are so afraid to kind of overcommit, to overexert themselves. And even Aja in the top lane, yes, he got caught out and he died, but he could have maybe gone for a flash and a jump, and he just said, no, I'm dead. That's the end of it. And just kind of accepted his fate, knowing that the flash is more valuable later on. Now, PSG, they find themselves in enemy territory. Flash forward, though. Triple man knockup as Junja gets punted right back into the arms of Adam. He does get the flag and drag away. Nice flick back as well from the Talia. Now Kai Ultimate does stop down Woody, and there is one more kill. BDS building back that momentum that they had from game number 4.
You can see PSG hunting in the jungle, looking for a play, but it's Lebrov who turns it around when he sees them all grouped up. Adam was in the area. You're not quite sure where he's going to be without that teleport, but he had based and come back out to the top side, able to join in on that fight. They're still poking around here, but this is a 4v5.
This is a 4v5, and Smite comes out. So they get their prize at the end, PSG, but they're now down about 500 gold. And I love what Labrov did right there. He pretended, almost baited him out so much, saying, oh, I'm going to flash over the wall and this is going to lead to nothing. Flashes in and causes a huge amount of disarray here for PSG.
Yeah, you can see Adam just getting back on the map as this play is happening. So fortunately, all 5 members alive. Tristana teleporting in as well, trying to escape at this point, and the Stone's able to somewhat interrupt the chase down, but the Maokai route following up, locking down one member. Adam able to help clean that one up. Unfortunate that the kill does go over to Sheo at the end of that. Anyone else probably is going to use that better except for Lebrov, so a little unfortunate, but hey, if you're Maokai, you're happy to get accelerated, get a little bit tankier earlier on.
Yeah, get yourself up to some kind of standing position to be a bit of a meat shield alongside this Alistair. So right now we can see that the advantage in that top side is starting to grow and grow. Already got a dead man's plate here for Adam. Maple looking to try and catch out Sheo. He's going to be able to kind of push him back out here. Flash away by Sheo, so no flash twisted advances available for him for at least another few minutes.
Nice timing on the Q flash. While Maple is knocked up, you are flashing away, able to get out. I believe he might have practiced phrase rush as well to skedaddle on out of there. Does, like you say, though, cost his flash. But it was Maple's ultimate as well that went down there. So now, PSG, good wards on the map. You can see they have a nice little box set up on the main jungle ramps around mid lane there to allow themselves to see any potential flanks coming from BDS as we head to this next dragon 1.5 minutes away.
Waka was so close to an Infinity Edge, I feel like he just really wants to get that last little thing. I think he's recalling for it now, so wait to see if he's able to come back out onto the map with that second item. It would be huge here for the side of PSG, and there it is. So 2 item Aphelios. He is starting to build towards that late game. And this isn't like game number 4 where the Aphelios was unable to really build items and have an impact. He's been given the resources, he's been given the time, and now he's starting to show the fruits of that labor.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get involved in these team fights. That is the biggest question, or if he's just going to be saplinged and then Maokai rooted as he tries to follow up on a front line.
Stride breakered. And
they're just going to dive in. That's what the Gnar and the Jarvan want to do together, and of course Maple can maybe follow up, Woody can maybe follow up, and as Wako is the main damage dealer, the question is, can he get involved? Can he actually get this damage out? Or is BDS going to be able to peel back?
Lane has become the battleground. We're going into a little bit of an ARAM here for BDS, and this is the problem that they're going to find themselves in now, because Adam has not got teleport. He's very strong in a side lane, and with the Dead Man's Plate and the shrines from the Wind of the Cloud Soul, they should be able to get him between each lanes very quickly.
Yeah, and Adam is a master of this playstyle. He has been playing without teleport way more than people have been playing against someone without teleport. So he knows how to shove a wave, get it on the other enemy side of the map, group up with the rest of the team, allow it to push all the way back, be hiding in brushes that people aren't ready for, and as well, hopefully be able to get out safely when he is committing those pushes.
I would love to see a stat to whether or not Adam has played with teleport more or without teleport more, like in his career, because it's not that big of a career.
Yeah, it's two and a half years.
2.5 years, I think, you know, in terms of like pro, in terms of the highest level, Worlds qualifying region level. Obviously, the LFL is a beast of its own, to be perfectly honest. But flash in, the apprehend, they found Wako, and he is dead. Nothing he could do. You can't cleanse and apprehend.
Nothing to go on there. They said, nice IE, bro, and immediately kill him. Adam finding the moment. We were just singing his praises on the Gods
Champion. For the fight, though. No Maokai ultimate on this one. Actually, a lot of ultimates used in the last fight. Here we go. The Talia wall comes out to try and separate people out. They're going to be like fish in a barrel. The Gnar nowhere near getting up towards Mega. Not
not quite able to get himself the Labrov flick back, but they will be able to get themselves the Baron secured. Now, can Labrov get away from this without dying? No, he cannot. They lose one. Nuke going in a little bit aggressively. They do get him back on top of this one, and he is shut down. 2 kills to 1. The Baron does go over to BDS, but the Dragon will be traded back. It's a lot closer than they would have liked it for BDS.
It initially looked like such a slam dunk play out of BDS, being able to find that initial kill and instantly transfer it over to the Baron. They had the right decision, run forward, buy space that there's no way for them to contest Sheo's smite. But then, instead of just leaving Labrov to die, Nuke just getting a little too crazy there, had his flash up, maybe thinking, hey, if I can get my E reset. I'm not quite sure if he got it or maybe got interrupted after the Talia E, but here you see Adam, just the killer instinct. Labrov on the exact same page, annihilated. I don't even think the ult came down in time before you saw that kill. And then, again, the decision here, great. You force this, you have the split sort of by Maple, but like you called out, Gnar with no rage, there's no real way to actually fight this. Labrov is just there zoning with Adam. They finish this Baron off. Great, leave Labrov to die. All run left, this is totally fine. But Nuke jumping in here, and he was trying to get one more auto attack on Junjia, but Junjia flashed away. So instead of getting the second W right after that, he was able to get re-engaged on top of it and goes down.
The Red Bull Baron power play, it's only about 400 now. That's not exactly the highest you would want of it. And the thing is that you're losing it onto Nuke. That's the big killer right there for me, because he was the teleport player. He's the one that could go off into a side lane and go for a 1-3-1. Labrov, that's a lot of damage. Gonna get the Moonlight Vigil landing onto Crowny on the backside of that one there. But again, you can see just how hard it is now for BDS to make this Baron push work, because unfortunately for them, the only one who has any pressure is going to be Adam.
Yeah, I was just initially thinking, okay, well, if you still have Adam, you can maybe set up this 4-1, but Labrov, again, stepping a little bit too far forward. We are in no man's land.
We are in
You look at
yeah.
the history of the goal differences over this series by AWS, you can see there have been quite a few, but usually it's at least sided one way. This time it is BDS slightly favored, able to grab this turret now. Up about 1,500 gold.
Oh, they're looking for Sheo here, because Aja has got Mega Gnar coming, and that's why he had to flash away. No Dragon to be speaking of right now, so everyone's just kind of playing very antsy, very conservative about where they want to be caught out, because the death timers, they're getting long, Mark.
Yeah, fortunately, even if Sheo did drop there, like you said, not much to grab on the map, but with a flash down, when the Dragon does spawn in 3 more minutes, that will still be down. So if you're able to get in there first, there's no flash smite contest available. And I gotta say, for the most part, BDS has done a very good job of finding windows where Asha does not have his ultimate available when he's in Mini-Gnar form. That first kill onto Adam, that Baron forced right there. And so now even here, pushing with these Baron buff minions, Asha's gonna need to try and stack this on the wave if they want to threaten some kind of engage here. And even then, Junjia's ult not quite up for another 15 or 20 seconds.
Oh, Sheo gonna throw out Nature's Grasp as they do catch out onto Junjia, who able to tank it out, and that's gonna be the first of the tier 2s taken away. No real teleport position here. Crowny very isolated away from his team, and Maple might look to try and find him, or maybe he might look to try and find Maple. That's the big question. Come into this one here. It's only a 2,000 gold lead here for BDS as they get a decent amount off of that Baron play.
Definitely the case. Ending up grabbing 2 turrets up to a 2,000 gold lead for BDS. Looking at that Crown, I guess you can say one of the things it can do is stop the AD carries from jumping on you and murdering you, because that is always a potential with a Tristana. If she finds a good angle where you're isolated, she can annihilate you. Same with, honestly, Zeri. There's definitely plenty of certified Zeri moments that start with flashing in, popping your ult, queuing somebody, auto, annihilation.
And then annihilation.
Yeah, I don't know where it goes from there exactly, how many more autos
you know
you'll
what?
need,
There's not really a lot after annihilation, I'll be honest with you. Like, it's just kind of, that's just how it is.
Yeah. yeah. So either way, I think BDS is feeling very, very good about themselves right now. A lot of it also being how they're executing this game. PSG, despite being 3-5 in kills and having some moments, for the most part, when the important ones are coming up, it's all BDS who is able to make these plays happen.
And yes, here we are, 4 towers each, 2 dragons each, 2,000 gold ahead of BDS, which is kind of just a little bit of these extra CS numbers they've been able to improve for themselves. And this game is far from over, and with these items starting to be picked up, 3 items onto Crowny now. He's got himself that Runan's Hurricane. You're going to have the Lord Dominic's Regard finished up for Nuke very, very soon as well. This is where the game stops being about those advantages, stops being about those kind of moments, and really just depends on who plays better in those team fights.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Interesting to see Sheo there topping damage done, Red Smite Infernal, or excuse me,
Demonic Embrace, yeah, that combination. Demonic, Infernal, same things, whatever.
They're both pretty terrible.
Yeah, demons. But either way, yeah, very impressive to see him topping the numbers, landing those saplings over and over again. And here, giving them, with those saplings, the space to be first ones to the Cloud Dragon, trying to get onto Soul Point. PSG showing up to contest. No one quite able to finish. It looks like there are 3 items you're talking about. Nuke trying to get there. Wako's in the same position. Oh, he sold.
There it is.
There it is. Now
Shout
she's
out
get
to
back
Raz
on the map.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is. Shout out to Raz. I feel like I've just called him out unnecessarily there.
People think there's more to it, but it's just that
no,
he says that.
he just says there it is a lot. It's very fun. But again, I feel like for PSG, you're not unhappy leaving this one alone. You can, if you don't feel confident, if you don't feel comfortable moving into this fight, you don't have to go for it.
Yeah, but Aja needs to start stacking his passive right now. There's a Raptors behind him. He should be trying to hit those a little bit more to get this so that there's an actual threat.
I mean, he doesn't really need to kind of rush it right now, just because they're not going towards the Dragon. They're actually moving towards the Baron instead. There's the upper hand, but it's on the Junja. Uses the Starbreaker, but Adam gets caught back a little bit on the backside of this. A lot of damage. It's a lot of rocks to the back of the head. Wacko finishes him off, and Adam gets caught. You don't have an ultimate now on Labrov because he had to use his to make sure he stayed healthy, and now PSG, they've changed the momentum.
PSG taking down Adam with 200 years, gives them the early access to the Baron. We'll see if they can get in somehow for BDS.
Here we go, 6,000 HP. Shao drops down the ultimate. He needs to get into the pit. He goes in, not quite able to steal it. It goes over to PSG. Aji goes into immediate stasis and flashes away because he's in Mininar. PSG get the kill, get the Baron, and they get the hell out.
PSG with a bit of robbery there. BDS trying to do the same thing that happened when they got the Baron, which is take the Dragon away from the enemy team. They are going to get there faster after PSG try to reset. But it is still a 4v5, 10 seconds on Adam. He does not teleport to join in once it does happen. In fact, PSG just says, screw the Baron, or Dragon, excuse me. We're gonna go start pushing these waves out topside, and they have mid push as well.
You have to make a decision here. Crowny going towards that top side. Labrov did come back in as well. Looks like they won't be able to get that top tier 2, but the inhibitor turret and mid lane is very, very exposed. There could be a big flank coming in. Shao will have his ultimate very soon, but not quite just yet. Picks up the blue buff to maybe get a little bit of time and mana back on top of him. I think he knows that that's just a bridge a little too far.
It was a great idea seeing if PSG lost track of him after the Dragon take, thinking that he would reset back to base rather than come in through the jungle. Unfortunately, Wako did not quite step far enough forward to find that angle, but it was a clever idea. And it is becoming a little bit about Wako now. Seeing how much damage he can pump out. We were talking about his Aphelios being absolutely incredible this time around. He's getting his items, he's having a proper front line. And we talked about flubbed engages from PSG getting melted by double AD carry. Same thing is true on the other side.
Yeah.
Wako can delete front line if they have no one to peel back.
It's not even just Wako, because look at Maple as he pops down the Reaver's wall, because he's got a death cap now. Yes, we kind of criticize the Crown of the Shatter Queen because it's very much a defensive item, but he's got damage now available to him alongside that Shadow Flame. So this is becoming harder and harder for BDS. We talked about it, how they were on the precipice of getting themselves a reverse sweep. They still had work to do, though.
If we've learned anything, though, about plans thus far, it's don't count your chickens before they hatch.
Junja, half his HP there, just from a couple of auto attacks and a W from Nuke, and this is where everything starts to come down to decision making. Gold lead basically means nothing. BDS are on Soul Point, and there's another Dragon for at least another 3.5 minutes, so we'll have to wait and see. But again, this is just Adam thinking he had caught someone out, but it's Junja. He's too tanky.
Yeah, you can see just this flick back sets everything up. The gun goes down to give tons of green procs to Wako. Combined with landing his ultimate gives him the final auto attack from 6 million units away to finish off Adam there and set down this chase. And looking at these fights, it's honestly probably not at all about backline access. I think realistically, even if Aja is stacked up, he's not that far ahead of the game. Him and Junjia comboing together is probably going to get peeled if you just try to dive onto the backline. It's about more probably buying space for Wako, and you and Maple able to flip someone back, lock them in, and just provide a target for Wako to hit. That's safer to hit than it is for the double marksman of the enemy team to hit you.
Exactly, and I think the big thing I'm looking for BDS is that this kind of Adam walk forward and take someone out, it's just not going to work anymore. You're too far into the game. We're 33.5 minutes. Items are completed. People can just be a lot more brazen and bold to kind of find vision to capitalize on you overextended.
Yeah, the one time they found Wako, his one death this game, was when Adam actually could flash E, pull him in. And of course, that's always an option. You can always 100-0 anyone. Same thing's true on the flip side. If anyone's caught out of position from BDS, of course you can blow them up. But realistically, with how this game is going, it's a lot more about setup and protection.
how you're able to come back into these fights. And oh my days, you can see now the Baron is gone. BDS are still being coerced backwards. It's a 4-item Zeri. Another fantastic Weaver's Wall just separates anyone out. Actually, I take that back. Actually stops the entirety of PSG from maybe going for a play, which is a little unfortunate, but the idea was there. Now Sheo on a little bit of a flank, maybe looking to try and go for something here. Here we go. Labrov goes in. They're going to try and burst out somebody here. The front line cannot stand tall as Aja falls down first. BDS, they've lost a little bit, but have they got enough in the tank to get a little bit more? If they get Junja here, it could be huge. But the smite comes down to slow down Adam and his pursuit.
That's exactly what we're talking about there. Good job by BDS pulling the trigger, stopping that push from coming in. They initially go onto Junjia with the pullback on Adam and then redirect onto Aja, who had stepped forward to scoop people away, actually, but he was locked down in place.
Adam, I don't think he knows anyone's coming up here. I don't think he knows that everybody is here. And now he's going to get jumped on, flicked back, CC'd into oblivion.
No
but he's not got Wacko, so he's not getting taken down. The apprehend comes back in.
There
the Cataclysm is down. Finally, the DPS is here, but now Nuke and Crowny, they don't feel confident to walk forward onto this. I genuinely feel they needed to kind of really commit to that, because it just feels like they're losing a slow burning death.
I felt Adam also maybe could have flashed out. They did not have the damage without Wacko there to punch through him. You can see how important he is to have him around, but here's this fight yet again. The initial combo onto Junjia, as well as a nice headbutt pulse combo, focuses Aja down on peeling back for Wacko, but fortunately, with the Alistar ult on, there's not that much damage that Wacko can pump back. It's this long chase down sequence. Baron's not up yet. They had nothing to really capitalize on, so they instead focus on clearing minions, and Adam caught out here. You can see, though, not taking that much damage if there's no big Aphelios to hit him down with. And so here, trying to stick around, trying to do the Darius heal up, land these massive Qs that bring you back up to full health. But Wacko showed up before then.
Wacko's got himself a GA now, so Flash Cleanse, GA, and all the kite in the world. PSG will get them onto Soul Point with this one. We are having, at minimum, 6 dragons, maybe 7 if we get that far, but this game could not be closer.
We were joking about it in game 1. Where will we get the 7 dragons? I think we're getting it this time. We might see 8 if it comes down to an Elder. Baron is up, though, and you can already see BDS is primed to burn this one down.
Lady
Maple,
carry.
a little late in base, going to have to teleport in, does still have the ultimate available, and just finish off his Void Staff.
They're starting it, and that's going to burn down so quickly. Junja has to get on top of this. There's a Cataclysm, but Junja can't join back on top of this one. Flash away by Adam as the Baron goes down. Perfectly done by BDS, but can they get anything else? Labrov on the flank, looking for a little bit more, but just gets stunned right off the W of the Talia. They have to reset, though. Super Minions are pushing in the bot side. It's a good move from BDS, but it can turn into a terrible one if they don't get out alive.
We'll have to see if they can get a clean recall off here. One is out in Crowny, but the rest are being chased down.
Oh, nice punt backwards. The flash in with the Magnet Storm. They're going to jump down onto Adam. Getting out with only 1 death would be very nice indeed. Aja trying to move forward on top of this. Does get the ultimate down on top of Sheo. That's another staggered death timer. As you can see, Crowny was the one to deal with the super minions. Now Labrov trying to just be the hero for his team as he gets taken out. It took too long for them to clear out their waves, and it meant that 3 members of BDS are dead.
3 members dead, only the carries left alive, but no minion waves for PSG, and Crowny knowing he wants to get this shoving so that they have no way to end the game, because it's long death timers. It's 30 seconds. If they don't clear these waves out, PSG will escort some in. And so BDS do what they need to do. They clear these waves out and then use the empowered recall to get back safely. Still, though, there is a wave in 20 seconds. They're at least going to get some inhibitors here, most likely, for PSG.
You'd imagine they will at least get 1. Couple of people coming back in about 15 seconds or so. They might try and they don't have minions. And they will be cleared out fairly quickly, so I don't think they're going to be able to end, but that's 2 inhibitors down. This Baron, Red Bull Baron power play will be for naught at the moment. And I almost want a live cam on Medic to see how he's doing, because this man is probably going through the ringer right now.
I bet a lot of EU fans are on their feet pacing and screaming at their monitors, but here, I love the call. Burn the Baron down, get out, and get back to your base. If you don't do that and you let the super creeps push, you don't have Adams who can deal with the wave and then teleport in. So you go, let's go flip the Baron. If we get the Baron, we get out and we deal with the wave later. Whereas if you deal with the wave first, it's a free Baron to PSG. So you at least get to take this away, and at best you're hoping to just cost Adams' life, but the chase down sequence here was so good for PSG that they could clear out 3 members. And we still, at the tail end of that, it's a 1,000-ish goal lead for PSG.
Not even. It's insane. The Dragon Soul will be confirmed in 2 minutes, 20 seconds. It is 39 minutes. Game 5. Win and you go to Swiss. Lose and your season, your year, your entire being is done for a while. The win probability powered by AWS, they don't even know. Look at the way he's jumping up and down. What's going on in this game?
It's a heart rate monitor looking at that thing. And like you said here, anything can happen from this point on. It is, I would say, PSG favorite, not just because of the gold lead, not just because they have...
Gold lead is not a gold lead.
Yeah, no. Absolutely not the important thing. It is the map pressure that they have with double inhibitors down, meaning that these are super creeps spawning in. Right now, you know, BDS is doing a perfectly good job clearing them out because they have the Baron buff. That's about to time out just now, and that's still a minute and a half before the next Dragon spawns. And so once those super creeps are no longer bumping up against Baron creeps, PSG will be able to grab map control back most likely.
Take a breath. Whew. Take a breather.
Shake it out. Shake your hands.
Left foot, right foot. Do the hanky-panky. The hokey-pokey, not the hanky-panky. slightly different.
Different context.
different thing. Get a little bit loopy. PSG kind of rewarded by the fact that they have got so many standing towers for the moment. Nuke coming down to this bot side, clearing out another wave. This is the thing with double AD carries, you can control these waves so easily.
And we talk about map mobility and we're looking at Talia's ultimate, but honestly, being able to ride walls and hop over them with Nuke actually gives them a lot more access to these minions. And so they're doing a great job not letting PSG really get that much map control. Here, PSG has decided to shove in mid-wave and trying to escort this one in, but you can still see Crownie melts these if you let him have access to auto-attacking.
That's the thing, once he's on single target on that super minion, he's not going to be in any way danger of kind of getting caught. Now Woody galloping towards this dragon. 30 seconds of spawns. Gold dead even. I don't know, do BDS want to fight this? I feel like they have to. You can't just let this one go. You're not going to have many more opportunities to have a straight 5v5 that's not in your base.
No, I absolutely think that you try and step forward and test this one here.
Wait to see where they want to go. For now, there is a good little flank here for Labrov. He's found himself the fog of war. The super minions have been dealt with for the moment. They will destroy this dragon so quick. PSG, 5-man strong. Labrov moving in to try and find some kind of a flank. He has been spotted by Maple and immediately has to go into his ultimate. Junja's in the pit, and now they have to try and burn down this dragon before he can. No, Soul confirmed for BDS. Now they got the Moonlight Vigil completely whiffing. Junja has to flash away and he stays alive. The objective was confirmed, but that only stems the bleeding because they've got to deal with these waves.
Still absolutely huge play by BDS there, so well done. Labrov called out, I was worried that the Alistar ultimate was going to cost them the situation, but the focus of the double marksman to burn that down, force Junjia to commit to it, allow them to grab Soul, and have enough control now that these super creeps are being dealt with quite easily by the late game double marksman.
I want to reiterate it. I said it in the last game, and it was just said in my ear again. BDS have only lost with Soul once this year. So they have got a pretty high win rate when they have Soul. Yes, it is not the most impactful in the world, but you think about the things that you can do with extra movement speed when Shale drops his ult, when the Alistar drops his. There's so much playmaking ability. Yeah, Woody and Maple, they needed to leave very, very quickly. These inhibitors will be respawning very soon as well. No more super minions in top or bot, or sorry, mid or bot.
I will say most games where you get a Soul, it's not quite this close, but I feel like the advantage might have swung back to BDS.
Got bot lane still with one super minion, so that's going to push in and give pressure. Baron spawning in 4 seconds. You will have to try and make this as quick as you possibly can. Labrov has been a hero for his side so far in this series, in this entire tournament. Can he get one more big play? He's looking for it. He may be able to hex flash over the wall. Woody might be the target. Labrov does kind of get spotted out a little bit now. You can see the lightning crash comes down. Junja goes completely hayward. Aja is dead, and now the reset can come in. Wacko needs to run away, but he's smited down. He has a stopwatch, but he's on so little HP. BDS
He's got
are
two.
doing it. BDS are killing them, and BDS will complete it. Quadra kill for Nuke. Be damned your curses. Be damned your expectations. BDS are going to Swiss.
They've done it! The reverse sweep by BDS! The redemption from falling at the hands of Mad Lions in Spring Split, able to make the main stage of
BDS, BDS,
There has only been 2 previous reverse sweeps at Worlds. this will be the third, and it will be the first for LEC. Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
He always does that.
BDS are going to the main stage.
BDS,
The
BDS.
absolute elation on that squad's face, doing it the hard way, dropping down in the beginning of day one and having to rally through the losers bracket in reverse sweep into the advancement best-of-5 series.
What a series. And just a quick reminder, while we're all having elation, stay tuned for the Swiss stage draw show starting in just a few minutes. But let's soak this moment in for BDS, because what a way to come back into this series. They look down and out 2 games in, and to win in this fashion, to have this game go so close. And it's I want to say, for me, I don't know whoever was going to be actually given the player of the series. It's Labrov. Labrov, for me, was exceptional throughout all of the wins for BDS.
Absolutely huge, being able to find so many angles. I got to shout Sheo out as well, because that final smite was contested, and he was able to once again come up with the clutch smite, get the soul, which I think ended up giving him a lot of power in that final fight to chase down Wako, being able to get on top of him and not let that Aphelios kite it out.
He looks exhausted. He looks exhausted.
He's exhausted, but he's still smiling. He made it work on his champions. He got through the whole list of gods in this series, even threw an R in there as well with Renekton.
And look, I always say this, when there are winners, unfortunately, there are losers. The PCS #1, PSG Talon, find themselves and their region out of Worlds 2023.
All the hopes were left on them after CFO was taken out by BDS as well, and they had a really good showing. I thought multiple times in this series they were ready to advance. After game 2, I thought game 3 would go heavily in their favor, and then even in this game, when they had the double inhibitors down, when they were winning some of those mid-game fights with Wako, I thought maybe this is it. Maybe they'll be able to just use this map advantage, but BDS had such good setups around the neutral objectives to find angles to claw their way back into this game.
I mean, you gotta remember, they were 2 inhibitors down. This was BDS gonna say, look, we have to fight. We can't sit back and wait.
And I love that evolution for this team, even within just this tournament, where on day 1, when they got hit in the jaw, it felt like they totally let off the gas and they let other people make plays against them. And here,
Darius,
on the
we got
back
Garen,
foot,
we got
with Super
Ola,
Creeps pouring into their base, they said we have to flip this Baron, and they made the difficult decisions, and that's how they ended up coming back.
And that's how you win games. That's how you advance in Worlds. You back yourself. And we're going to send it straight over to Worlds cooldown. Ender and a very elated Goldberg. Over to you guys.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's get that jacket off him. Let's get that jacket off him.
I promised I'd wear it if it happened.
Show it to the camera, my friend.
They made you
Oh
wear
my
the
God.
shirt.
That is just absolutely
I
gorgeous.
can smell it.
Fashion at its finest. Congratulations
Oh
to Team BDS. Look, this team found themselves just 5 months ago. They were in the spring finals in the LEC, where they were up 2-0 and got reverse swept by the Mad Lions to be denied a position at MSI. Now they pull off the reverse sweep here to deny the European play-ins curse and make it to the Swiss stage.
Just the way it started, like this game looked hopeless. It was a slow burner, nothing happened. Wako took over on the Kaiser, and just to contrast that to the ending, completely different. BDS looked defeated in the beginning of this series.
Some of these replays are just at the start of the series to showcase how hard it was of a track for BDS to make this comeback. A lot of the focus was on draft because they weren't playing their game. Then they throw out the Olaf. And a lot of people are saying, oh, they're doing it just to spell out gods before they go back home, right? That is not the case. It was a perfect angle for them. The Kaisa pickup made it so much better for Crownie. It was a tough one for them. And then we got to see Garen come out.
Ooh, Adam Smasher in the top lane absolutely carves up PSG Talon. It was a fantastic performance from him. And then in this final game, they lose both inhibitors, but find this gorgeous, gorgeous team fight around the mid lane. Nuke, the redemption story of him dominating in this game throughout with the quad.
I can't remember the last time I watched a series this tense. I think the goal graph shows it. You can see it. They started getting ahead, then they fell back into it. Then they got a good team fight again, then they fell back into it. And then we got to that late game where the gold lead just kind of did not matter. Everyone was almost full items. Everything came down to execution. And in the end, it was BDS that executed upon it.
Yeah, Crownie started off it was a hard one early on, but he farmed up. Team fights were better. I think everyone stepped up. huge series for Adam. He stepped up big to put them in this momentum, for them to even be in a game 5. Aji still couldn't handle him. That solo kill top lane on the Gnar. They tried everything. They even early picked the Gnar because that felt like the only pick he could have versus him was not enough.
I think Shio might have broken the chair or the armrest he was showing to the camera right there. I'm not sure what that was. But
a little too much excitement at the end there.
I mean, who wouldn't be?
Straight up. Just an absolutely incredible Game 5, an incredible series. And we're going to see what Nuke has to say after that fantastic game in the Verizon post-game interview.
It's been a long day for BDS and a couple heart attacks for EU fan, but in the end, they make it, and we will see BDS making their debut in the Sweet Stage next week.
Nuke,
thank you so much. Merci beaucoup for joining me. It's been an incredible day for you. Tell me about the third game. You're down 0-2. If you lose, you're out. If you lose, you have to go home. How did you guys reset? How did you guys get ready for this game 3 and pull the reverse sweep in the end?
I mean, I'm thankful to God because enemy just ran it down the draft. It was so crazy. Like, if they didn't change their playstyle and everything, we would probably lose, I think. But since they went Silas and everything, I had Azir, except the mid dive that I inted totally. This game was totally free win, and it just gave us momentum, and we just got back into the track, and yeah.
How did you feel in that last moment before the last Nexus exploded, when you finally realized that you guys finally made it and pulled the reverse sweep?
Crazy moment. I mean, the game was way harder than it should be. I think under the pressure, everyone just collapsed at some point. There's something that comes into my mind is the Nash fight.
Yeah.
It's 5v4 and we're just running away instead of acing them. This is one of the many thing happened this game, and I mean we just got it through, so this is the most important. So yeah, I'm happy.
It must be so hard to stay calm and collected in moments like this, and taking a step back, looking at the journey you had, Nuke, actually, looking at last year, last with BDS, coming into this year in the LEC, no one believed in you guys. You guys were ranked 10, 9 in the LEC standing. Next week, you're about to play your very first Swiss stage at Worlds. How does that make you feel?
Feeling great. I mean, the last year and a half, before this year, I lost everything confidence-wise. I was just collapsing slowly, and yeah, this was probably the hardest year of my life, where I had to get back to good gameplay, to have good confidence, just be a good mid laner, right? And it was a long journey. There were a lot of highs, a lot of lows, a lot of everything, basically every emotion possible that came into my mind, and we are at World main stage, which is crazy. So yeah, I'm super happy.
I remember that you tweeted something 3 years ago.
Yeah,
you said,
true.
in 3 years, in 2023, I will be at Worlds.
Yeah.
You did it in the end. If you could speak to your former self from 3 years ago, what would you tell yourself?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think he would ever believe what I would say to him, but just keep going, don't stop. Even for everyone that is following this path of e-sport and just video game overall, since there's a few people that succeed, just never give up and just keep going until the end, until you die, basically.
You worked for it. You did everything you could, and you're entering the Big Boys Club for next week, facing off against the likes of Knight, Chovy, Palafox. These are your potential opponents. What are your thoughts when you think about this opposition in the mid lane and what you'll be looking to achieve here at Worlds?
I mean, yeah, it will be a first time, right? It's my totally first experience. I still have to get used to the stage pressure and everything. And now we will even change the stage, change place, everything basically. Yeah, big names, Chovy and everything. I just give everything I have. I think we did the best thing we could do this year, which qualified towards group stage. Now